his left, and I hit the wall.
She hit me.
Where did she hit you?
On my face. And I was like, get out of here. Get out.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Sheila Rogers is suing her ex-boyfriend, David Dobbs, for assault, medical expenses, and pain and suffering.
Order. All rise. This is case number 222 on the calendar, the matter of Rogers versus Dobbs.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Mr. Dobbs, where do you live?
In Ontario, California.
And you live in Las Vegas?
Yes, ma'am.
This complaint alleges that in May of this year, Mr. Dobbs, you drove from California to Las Vegas, and you were in a motel or hotel.
Yes.
Hotel or motel?
Hotel.
What was the purpose of that visit?
I had a show out there in Vegas.
It wasn't to visit the plaintiff?
No, ma'am.
Were you still in a relationship in May?
Yes.
What kind of show did you have?
DJ dance, kind of entertainment show.
But you did let her know you were coming?
Yes.
To Las Vegas. Was it May 16th?
May 14th.
May 14th. You came to the hotel where
Yes,
he was
ma'am.
staying. Had he invited you over to meet?
We had text with each other the earlier part of the day. Some of the texts turned a little sexual, but we agreed that I would come to the hotel where he was, and I went.
To visit him?
Yes, ma'am.
So that was a pre-arrangement?
Somewhat, yes, ma'am.
What do you mean somewhat? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Before he came, I had no thoughts of going to see him because normally I would get his rooms for him when he came to Las Vegas. But at this time, I did have him a room, but we got into it like a week before.
You got into what?
We had an argument.
That's what I'm trying to get at. So you had an argument a week before. Was that in person or over the phone?
It was basically over text messages.
And what was the argument about?
He texted me and asked me did I know of anywhere that he could work while he was out here, that he needed $1,800 and he didn't want to ask for it. And I told him I didn't know of a club, and I asked him what did he need it for. And he said, I just need it, and he wouldn't tell me what he needed it for. So I asked him again. He still wouldn't tell me. So I said, never mind. And he got an attitude about it. He told me it was a place that he could work while he was out here.
And this was all in text messages?
Yes, ma'am.
So then he came out. You knew he was there, and you went to see him. So your relationship with him had cooled during that week?
It had cooled actually in January to February. We had started cooling off because I was getting tired of his lies. I had started backing away from him because of other women.
Fine. So tell me what happened on the 14th of May when you went to his hotel.
Well, I pulled up. I valet parked. He told me he was at the roulette table, so I went in. He was playing roulette, and I stood behind him. He turned around and saw me. He turned around, gave me a kiss. I guess he had made friends with another guy that was playing there, so he introduced me to the guy. I knew he had already been drinking all day, but I asked him if he wanted a drink. He said he did. I went to the bar, got him a double shot of Hennessy, got myself a drink. I went back to the table. He was still playing. When I got to the table, the cocktail waitress arrived there at the same time, so he had 2 drinks. He downed one, and he finished playing. We started to walk, drank the other one, put it down. There was a security guard at the elevators, so he showed the key. We went up to the room. We get in the room, and he turns on music. I went over to the window, and I was looking out the window. He asked me to pour him a drink because he had brought a big bottle of Captain Morgan with him from California, and he had been drinking on it prior to.
You don't know what happened prior to. He asked you to pour him another drink.
Right, and I did. He turned some music on. We were talking, and I started to have a conversation about a friend of his that had been trying to hit on me. And months before, I had sent him a screenshot of what the guy was saying, and I thought he would handle it, but he didn't.
Why would you think he would handle it, Miss Rogers?
Because that's what I was brought up that men do. If this is your friend, he shouldn't be coming at the person that you're dating. So I thought
he should know.
I thought,
you thought he should know about it, that his friend.
Right. And I thought, you know, this supposedly is his friend, so you would do something about it. But he turned it back on me. So we were talking about it. So he said, I tell you what, I'm going to call this. And he called him. I don't want to say it here. He called him. I'm going to call him right now. He has an iPhone, so he FaceTime. I proceeded to tell him what I had told him about he liked me and that it wasn't all about money. And the guy cut him off, and he said, I tell you what, I do, but you guys keep me out of what's going on between you. And he repeated himself and said it again. Keep me out of what's going on between you. As I'm going to delete her as my friend on Facebook, and I'm going to delete her number out of my phone. He said, keep me out of your business. And he hung up on him. When he hung up, that's when he changed. He said that, I don't care what he say, you're mine and I'm your. And I said, I'm nobody's, don't call me that. And he said that I'm your and you're my. And I said, cute, but I don't like either of those words. I got up because I was sitting on the bed farthest from the window. I started to walk over to him by the window, and before I got there, he grabbed me.
Why were you going over there?
I was going over to the window. He had the window open. I was just walking over to the window. But before I got there, he was standing there, and he grabbed me. And when he grabbed me, he threw me to his left. And there was a desk, dresser / catch myself like this. And I'm standing there like, what just happened? And I'm asking him, why did you do that? What's wrong with you? And I turned, and he was pretty much on me. So I pushed him in the chest backwards. He grabbed me again, and he threw me to his left again. This time I missed the desk, and I hit the wall. His suitcase was sitting on the luggage rack right there. I have pictures of the suitcase, and I hit the wall in between the suitcase and the desk. When I hit that, I fell over on the suitcase and the luggage rack. We all fell to the floor.
I rolled. Fell to the floor.
The suitcase, the luggage rack, and myself. And I managed to roll over in a sitting position, and I'm sitting there thinking, wow, what just happened?
Okay,
why did he do this?
So what did you do next? He did it because, if I believe you, he did it because you've just told me that he had been drinking before you arrived.
Right.
You went and got him a double shot. He ordered another double shot, which he consumed. He asked for another drink when you got into the room.
Right.
So you're not dealing with someone who's rational, and not dealing with someone who's rational, you're telling them that a friend of his has put a hit on you, and you think that he should deal with it in his. It doesn't permit anybody to put their hands on you, but that would be poor judgment.
Yes.
Right.
It would be.
And it was.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He grabbed me again and slung me over on the bed. I said, he's really going to hurt me. So I went over and I grabbed my phone, and I didn't know.
And he went to the bathroom.
He went in the bathroom.
Why didn't you leave?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Sheila Rogers says ex-boyfriend David Dobbs assaulted her in a Las Vegas hotel room.
Okay. I assume that you've told me honestly that you had one drink.
I had half of one drink. My drink was still pretty full.
So you had a clear mind, and you're dealing with a guy who's got a fuzzy mind.
Yes, ma'am.
If I believe you.
Yes.
He's going to tell me his own version of the story, which I haven't gotten to yet because he's been quiet.
Right.
Okay. Make a long story short, then, based upon what I heard, you called the police.
Well,
did you call the police or call security?
I called the police the first time.
Okay. So
once I got up, because when I got up off the floor, he was walking by to go to the bathroom, and he grabbed me again and slung me over on the bed. If I continue to let him do this. So I went over and I grabbed my phone, and I didn't know.
And he went to the bathroom?
He went in the bathroom.
Why didn't you leave?
Your Honor, I don't know. I honestly...
I'm just curious. Why didn't you
honestly
leave?
Couldn't tell you. I thought this was somebody that I loved, somebody that I knew. I couldn't understand why he was doing it. I can't tell you why I didn't leave at that moment.
Okay, fine. So you called the police. The police arrived.
Yes.
And you were arrested.
Yes, ma'am.
And you were arrested on an outstanding warrant.
a warrant that I didn't know I had.
Okay. It was an outstanding warrant for what?
It was a 2009 unemployment, theft, and fraud they charged me with.
Okay. Was that case ever resolved?
It is being resolved.
Oh, so it hasn't been resolved, then I don't want to hear about it. Okay, so there's an outstanding warrant. You were arrested on
Yes,
that,
ma'am.
and subsequently someone posted bail for you?
Yes.
Who did?
My daughter.
How old is your daughter?
She will be 34.
Okay. And what you want to be is compensated for the assault. That's what you're here for.
Well, it tore a ligament in my knee.
That's what you want.
Yes.
You want to be compensated for the assault. Okay. Because that matter was never pursued by the authorities in Las Vegas.
It wasn't pursued because Mr. Dobbs lied.
Okay. Well, I don't know that. Now, go.
How you doing, Miss Judy?
Okay,
On May 14th, when I was out there doing my show, yes, I've been drinking. We have been drinking together. I have no idea what this one drink thing is.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
14th, she says she arrived and you were at the casino table.
Right.
Is that true?
Yes.
And you finished at the casino table and you were going upstairs to your room.
Yes, ma'am.
The two of you.
Yes.
Great. Well, let's pick it up from there.
We're walking to the elevator together, drinking together. We get to the room, we're drinking together. Oh, Captain Morgan, let's have some fun. I turn on the music, everything's going all good. She goes, hey, your friend keep hitting on me. I'm like, well, he can't hit on you. He can't automatically get your number out of nowhere. How'd he get it? How'd he call you? I'm asking her questions like, you can't tell me things because this is my friend. He already told me this situation, but this is not the time to talk. Hey, just keep our business to us. And he'd never know nothing about that. That's all I say.
I don't understand. I don't understand what you just said.
Don't tell my friends anything about myself. Don't tell them about me. There's no reason you should talk to my friend about me. Because you and him have no communication. For what? Why are you guys friends? That's my friend. That's not your friend. So how does he have your number? Why is he on your phone? That was the question.
Okay, so the question was how your friend got her phone number.
There you go.
Did she answer that question?
No. Oh.
So, I never answered your question. What happened next?
After that, I called him. Like, bro, what's going on? Oh, man, just keep my name out of it. I don't want to go through that. All right, fine. Hung up. Like, look, you my girl. I did say she like, oh, don't call me no, we're drunk. We're both intoxicated. Don't call me no. I'm like, look, I can call you whatever I want to. Girl, you are tripping. Get out.
I don't understand what
she hit me.
Where did she hit you?
On my face.
Okay.
So when she walked over, hit me in the face, pushed her back like, you are tripping. Get out of here.
Well, Mr. Dobbs, did she hit you, or was she walking over to hit you?
No, she hit me. She walked over and hit me, because I'm at the table at a standstill. I'm at a table at the standstill where the drink is. So when she walked over, it was just a hit, and I was like, whoa, get out of here. Get out. I ain't leaving. Don't call me no...
Did she hit you with a closed fist or an open hand?
It was open hand.
It was an open hand, and she hit you in the face?
Yes.
So she slapped you?
Yes.
Okay. What happened next?
I just kept telling her to leave. Then I turned my phone on. I just wanted to record everything. Like, it sounded like it's going to be some tricky, something funny going on. And I was getting dressed. I was ready to go gamble. I'm not leaving. How you going to call me if you love me? Get out. Just leave. Just leave. All you got to do is get out. She follows me to the bathroom. I'm still recording. Get out.
You have that recording?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to hear it.
Oh.
Where did you take that from?
All you got to do is push play.
You just how can you say you love me and you call me a... How can you say you love me and you call me a...
That's where she pushed me.
How can you say that you love me and you call me a... Don't touch me. Whatever you do, don't touch me. Don't give my name out. Don't touch me. Thank you.
There's more.
That's why the whole world is different now with those things.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Miss Rogers.
Yes.
First of all, he didn't look really drunk. You looked more drunk than he did in this video.
I wasn't drunk.
You looked more drunk than he does in this video.
Real people. Judge Judy. Sheila Rogers claims ex-boyfriend David Dobbs assaulted her in a Las Vegas hotel room.
Okay, so you followed him.
I have a recording also.
So you followed him. I'm going to see it, but you followed him into the bathroom.
I went into...
No, you followed him into the bathroom. That's what this shows. He's getting washed. He says, just leave. You followed him into the bathroom, and then at some point, when he was recording what was going on, you went over to the phone, knocked over the phone, because that's what that shows. That's a little bit of a different story.
Well,
Now I'd like to see your video.
It's recording. I actually went to the bathroom after I called the police. I didn't follow him directly to the bathroom.
Miss Rogers.
Yes.
First of all,
I understand what you're saying.
well, good. I'm glad you understand what I'm saying. If you are afraid, as a matter of fact, he didn't look really drunk. You look more drunk than he did in this video.
I wasn't drunk.
Just, you look more drunk than he does in this video. He's washing his face. He says, I got to get ready. I got to go. Get out. Don't touch me. Get out. And you confronted him again, followed him around again, knocked over the phone that was recording. Now I want to see, you said you have...
More of a voice recording of us. There you go.
Like you an innocent guy, like you didn't do anything, you didn't start anything, you didn't push me. And why are you acting like that?
If you can leave,
Okay, if you gonna act like that, then we.
That's where it stops. Judge, I have the full version of that. The full, with the video.
I'd like to see it.
Yes, please. That's, it started and stopped somewhere. I wanted the rest of it to play. That didn't even go how it's supposed to go. There you go. That's the 3-minute version. There you go. That's the full clip. I don't know what that was.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Are you the victim of an assault? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay.
I'm asking you a question. Why are you acting like this? Why are you acting like this for me? With me? Really? Why are you acting like this with me? Why are you acting like this? Your question. You don't want to answer that on camera, huh?
I'll have to answer anything. Can you just leave?
Let me record my stuff too.
Please do.
Why are you acting like this?
Please, let's record.
You all of a sudden start acting like there's some, like, I don't know, like you an innocent guy, like you didn't do anything, you didn't start anything, you didn't push me. Why are you acting like that?
If you can leave, now it's time.
Okay, if you gonna act like that, then we don't. I'm gonna leave.
Okay.
But since you pushed me down on the floor, we gonna make this official. How about that?
Do what you feel, Sheila.
Because that was unnecessary.
You slapping me on my face was necessary?
I didn't slap you in your face until you pushed me.
I did not push you.
You did too push me.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, then we'll both go to jail tonight.
Okay, so we got the time for it. As long as you're not worried, I'm not.
Okay, got it.
It's not
Case is dismissed. We're done.
Thank you.
Funds are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy...
It never lies. Revenge. Revenge. Being married and unhappy. The truth. I like that. Let's go with the truth will set you free.
He let me eat some of his food, and
I did not give him the food. He stole it.
A landlord's list of grievances.
How much did you owe him?
he told me $20.
Just $20.
He got upset that I wasn't giving it to him on the spot.
Then,
You and Mr. Horn had an altercation.
did he take a swing at solving it?
He came out of the door with a bamboo stick, and I reached into my closet in self-defense to grab my bat.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. 21-year-old Chase Adrian is suing his former landlord, 73-year-old William Tyler Horn, for the return of his security deposit and laptop and a false arrest.
Order. All rise. Yeah, it's case number 245 on the calendar in the matter of Adrian versus Horn.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Adrian, you were a tenant of Mr. Horn's for approximately 8 months, according to what I know him for a variety of things. Let's take first things first. First thing is that you had a security deposit that you left with him.
Yes.
And you want the security deposit refunded to you.
Yes.
How much was the security deposit?
$14.50.
Is that correct, Mr. Horn?
I believe so.
Okay. And when did you give him the $14.50? When did you start your tenancy?
The agreement was entitled, I have evidence,
Just tell me the date.
23rd of November, 2015.
And you moved out on what date?
I moved out on June 21st, 2016.
Did Mr. Horn return any part of your security deposit?
No.
And you just rented a room from him?
Yes.
Is that correct? All right, Mr. Horn, we're going to deal with first things first. Security deposit. You will agree that you did not return any part of Mr. Adrian's security deposit?
Correct.
Now you're going to tell me why.
Because damage and the thefts that occurred when he was living in the house.
You don't get any credit for thefts that occurred when he was in the house that you didn't report to the police. Did you report any of the thefts to the police?
When they arrested him, yes.
No. During his tenancy?
No.
Fine. Forget thefts. I want to see the damage that you're claiming that he caused.
Okay.
When was that damage caused?
The day he moved out.
Did you punch these holes in the walls?
No, I did not.
Did any?
Big hole was already there when we replaced the door, and the small hole, Mr. Horn punched.
Who replaced the door?
I did. I put it back myself.
You replaced the door on the hinges, and this was the door to your room?
Yeah, there was a door. It was the door before this one was broken, so I just replaced that door with this door with the 2 holes.
You bought a door?
No.
Where did you get it from?
It was in the garage, an extra door in the garage.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. What other damage did he cause?
You don't count stolen.
No,
Correct.
you have to return his security deposit. So we have $1,450 so far. Now, the second part of your lawsuit is punitive damages for false arrest. I assume that sometime around the end of June when you moved out, you and Mr. Horn had an altercation.
Yes,
And as a result of that altercation, you were arrested.
that is correct.
No charges were ever filed against you.
No.
So you were released.
Yes.
Okay. I want you to tell me about what happened. Was that on June 21st?
This was on June 20th.
On the 20th. So tell me what happened on June 20th.
On the 20th, Mr. Horn and I got into an argument.
About what?
About money that I should have paid him for gas and for food.
Gas for what?
He was driving me to the beach so we could go on walks, and he was driving to Hollywood so he could go to a comedy show, and I wanted to go with him, but I didn't pay him.
Gas?
No, I was going to pay him
Hey.
full in gas.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how much did you owe him?
He told me $20.
So he approached you about the gas money.
Yes.
And food?
Food. I ate some of his food. He let me eat some of his food, and part of that would be paying for the food.
Would be all in the $20?
Yes.
Okay. So he asked you for the $20. And what happened?
I told him I didn't have it at the moment, but I would give it to him as soon as I got it, and he was upset. He didn't believe me.
How long had you owed him the $20?
About maybe 2.5 months, because he was being generous and driving me without asking for the money, but it got so overwhelming that he finally asked for the money, and I agreed to give it to him.
Just $20?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And you would owe it to him for months?
Yes.
Go ahead.
And after that, we got into a verbal argument because, like I said, he got upset that I wasn't giving it to him on the spot. And so he punched the first hole in the door, and he was getting upset. And he kept pushing on the door, and I locked the door. I said, I want you to calm down first, and then I'll talk to you. But he was still getting upset, and then, he was hitting the door as hard as he could, and he finally broke it off its hinges. And he shoved me down where I hit the fan. I landed on the fan and it broke. And after that, I called the police. And the police came the first time and they said, "What's going on?" I told them what happened.
Do you have a police report from that incident?
I do not.
Okay, so you called them the first time.
Yes.
And
They told me,
you can't tell me what they told you. You went back into the house.
yes, after they told me to,
You went back into the house.
Yes, back into the
And that
house.
was the 20th. Okay, what happened after you went back into the house?
After that, Mr. Horn went back into his room, and when he was in his room, he closed his door, and I went over to the door and I knocked on it, and I wanted to, just apologize for yelling at him, but he was still upset, and I was still knocking on the door just saying, "Hey, I would like to apologize. I made a mistake. I just want to apologize." And
You were yelling at him.
Yes, and he was upset, and he came out of the door with a bamboo stick. And I ran back into my room because he was following me into my room. He was really upset. You know, he had an angry face. And I went back into my room, and he was there with the bamboo stick. And I reached into my closet in self-defense to grab my bat, okay? And I held it up. I didn't touch him with it. I held it up, he backed away, and at that point, I called the cops.
For a second time?
Yes.
So you called the police on both occasions?
Yes.
Okay. What happened when the police arrived?
The police arrived, and they handcuffed Tyler, and they sat me down on the driveway. They talked with him. I don't know what they were talking about. And then they came over to me, and they asked me what was going on. I told them what was happening, and they had enough evidence. Mr. Horn said that I hit him with the bat, which I did not hit him. I didn't touch him.
Did you tell the police that he hit you with the bat?
No, I did not.
What did you tell the police, Mr. Horn?
Told the police that he pulled a knife on me, which he did. His memory is very faulty.
Did you have a knife in your possession?
No, I did not.
During the course of the police placing you under arrest, did a knife fall out of your pocket?
It was in my pocket, but it was not out of my pocket.
So it was in your possession?
Yes.
The knife was in your possession?
Yes.
What kind of knife was it?
It was a small pocket knife. The blade was probably that big.
Okay. Do you have a police report? I'd like to see it. You don't have another police report where it's not all blacked out?
I tried to obtain one, but
Well, you can return this.
the Attorney General in Torrance blots out the name of the perpetrator and not the victim,
Well, they
which is
blocked out-
rather ironic to
They
me.
blocked out the name of the perpetrator because there were no charges filed against him.
Yeah, evidently.
Okay. Great. Mr. Adrian,
Yes.
You're getting your security deposit back, $1,450. But clearly, unless he was psychic, he didn't know that you had a knife in your possession,
Yes.
if it was in your pocket. But the police found the knife. Did they take the knife?
They did, yes.
Did they subsequently give it back to you when they released you the next day?
No. The arrest was not for the knife. It was for elderly abuse, which I did not hit him.
Now, the only other thing that I'm going to consider, I'm not considering punitive damages for false arrest. What I am considering is the laptop that you say he kept that belonged to you. Was this an old laptop, sir?
Yes, it was a Windows Vista.
And did you, Mr. Adrian, at some point damage Mr. Horn's computer?
No, I did not.
Did you damage his keyboard and printer?
No.
Did you use his keyboard and printer?
The keyboard that he has, I gave that to him. It was a black keyboard that I gave to him along with a monitor that plugs into a laptop. And the printer, it was not broken. The ink cartridges just weren't working, so it looked as if it was broken.
How many laptops did you have when you left the house on June 21st?
Well, I had 0 because of the laptop that was still there.
So you didn't have a computer?
I had a laptop that I brought into the house when I first moved in.
And that was the one that you are claiming that Mr. Horn has?
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Other than that laptop, you have no other laptop or no other computer?
No.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Mr. Horn. Explain the computer to me.
On the table, as I also saw him steal my iPhone. I did not give him the food. He stole it.
Mr. Horn, let me tell you what your answer is.
That's it.
No, let me tell you what you swore to in your answer.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
You have to have proof that Miss Robinson took your property.
My proof wasn't him, but he's dead.
Listen, I can perform magic, but even that's a little hard for me.
Well, yep, I wish
if
you
that's
could.
the proof, and he's dead, I can't resurrect him.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Chase Adrian says his former landlord, William Tyler Horn, won't return his security deposit and laptop. He also says William had him falsely arrested for an assault.
Now, you swore in your answer that Mr. Adrian gave you his old computer as payment for my broken equipment. Now you just tell me that he stole your computer.
And then gave me his.
Okay. You have to return his computer to him, and I will give you an order that you can go and get it in the company of a police officer. In addition to that, you get $1,450, which is your security deposit. We're finished. Thank you.
Well, he's excused. You may step out.
He was a nice guy at first.
Places and, and tried to help him out. I bought him a dinner or two.
He was very crazy. He was yelling at himself and just acting very crazy.
And just Nothing. He wouldn't clean.
He was mad that I didn't clean my room when he wanted it to be clean.
He wouldn't do anything around the house that he was required to do.
He was mad that I came back late and that I was blasting music.
He started lying, stealing.
I did not steal the iPhone.
Came home from a bike ride, saw him steal it, and run down the driveway with it.
Because I already had a phone. He lost his iPhone.
I better know them better like I do the guy that's in there now.
Exactly. I have a dad, and he's not my dad.
Very glad he's gone.
I never want to see him again.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Williams versus Robinson, step forward.
Joylyn Williams is suing her late boyfriend's wife, Brenda Robinson, for the return of a watch and a tablet.
Miss Williams, you had a boyfriend for,
Yes.
according to your complaint, about 8 years.
Yes.
And what was his name?
His name is Reggie.
What was his last name?
Reginald Harmon.
And he passed away when?
He passed away May the 7th.
Of this year?
Oh, yes, this year, sorry.
About a week before that, according to your complaint, you had spent the night
Yes.
with Mr. Harmon. And when you left your watch there. And days, according to your complaint, Mr. Harmon became ill and was hospitalized.
Yes.
And he never recovered, nor did he return home. He died in the hospital.
Yes.
On what date?
Did he die
on
in
the
hospital?
7th?
Yes, the 7th.
He died on the 7th. And on what date had you last been to his house?
Yes, I was at his house. It was April the 29th, and I came home on the 30th, which is that Saturday.
Okay. Now, Miss Robinson, you claim that you and Mr. Harmon were married.
Yes, we are.
Well, you're not married anymore because he's dead.
Right.
And you did not live with him.
Not at all.
The last time that you lived with him was when?
Maybe 2006.
Were you notified that he was in the hospital?
I took him.
Tell me how that came about.
He came over to my house the day before and, just talking, and he was seeing the kids. And then he said he didn't feel well. So he laid down, and later on, he left to go home. And then my daughter went with him, and then I stopped by to pick her up.
How old is your daughter?
She's 15.
Go ahead.
And later, I went by to pick her up, and he came downstairs and asked me would I take him to the hospital.
So that's how you knew he was in the hospital?
Yes.
How many children do you and Mr. Harmon have?
2.
15-year-old daughter?
And a 13-year-old son.
And I assume you didn't know that? That's what you suggest.
Yes. Yes, I do know that. He told me that Brenda, my kid's mother. So, yes, he do have 3 foster kids by her.
Are these his biological children?
No, they're not.
Okay. Now, this is your complaint. Your complaint is that you believe Miss Robinson has your watch and the tablet.
And the tablet, yes. Because I left it there on the dresser, and how she got the keys is she went to his...
I don't care.
Sorry.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
As she pulled up in the car, she was bringing out this bag. And as she was proceeding to hand her the bag, Joylyn was like, that looked like my watch. And then she, I guess, confronted, she did say something about the watch.
What did Miss Robinson respond?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Joylyn Williams is suing her late boyfriend's wife, Brenda Robinson, for the return of a watch and a tablet.
Now, you left them on the dresser. Do you
Yes.
have any proof that Miss Robinson has either, because she says she has neither the watch nor the tablet, is that
At all.
correct?
I have never seen it.
Okay, that's what she says.
Okay.
Do you have any proof that she has either the watch or the tablet?
Yes, because she came into the adult center where he works at, which I go to the center. She had the watch on. It said, this is mine, that's my husband. But, Your Honor, I want to let you know...
Okay, now just a second. When did that happen?
I say like the 3rd day in him in the hospital.
Okay. Now, Miss Robinson, we're not talking about the tablet, we're talking about the watch.
Okay.
Do you recall a conversation that you had with Miss Williams about the watch?
Not at all.
More than once.
Not at
Your
all.
Honor.
Was anyone else present? Tell me your name.
My name is Brenda Larry.
Were you present at the adult center?
Actually, we were sitting outside in the front of the Long Life Adult Care Center. She pulled up in a car. And as she pulled up in the car, she was bringing out this bag. And she had seen Joylyn. She proceeded to give her the bag, and as she was giving her...
Just a second. The defendant was giving Miss Williams a bag?
Yes, ma'am.
What did the bag contain?
No, I seen her, and she wanted some pictures that they had. I put the pictures in the bag and gave
So
her.
that's what the bag
that's the bag.
contained. The bag
Yes.
contained pictures.
Yes.
Okay, so she handed her?
Yes, and as she was proceeding to hand her the bag and stuff, and Joylyn was like, that looked like my watch. And then she, I guess, confronted, she did say something about the watch. She got in her car and she sped off, and she drove off.
Did she say anything?
It's not my business to say anything.
No, did she say anything?
She said anything. What did she say to her?
She said, that looks like my watch. What did Miss Robinson say?
Brenda wasn't there when I came to the car.
No.
When I came to the car, Brenda wasn't there. She said, this is mine, that's my husband's stuff. What's my husband is mine, and she drove off.
Yeah.
Burning rubber driving off, too. But these are the pictures she gave me. I couldn't bring it in. Some trying to be funny, some pornos, and a picture of a girl that's not even me. Yes.
I don't.
This is what she gave me, Your Honor. And this is my watch.
May I see those?
And this is the tablet. Tell you about the tablet. How much I paid for it. Receipt.
Miss Robinson, where did you get this watch from?
I've never seen that watch. I didn't hand her no watch at all.
Well, what kind of watch do you wear?
I don't wear a watch.
Where did you get this watch from?
I bought the watch from a girl off the street, but she sell purses and watches and different stuff. I had got it from her.
When?
Christmas last year. And Your Honor, this is my tablet.
How much? I don't care about the tablet. You have no proof that she has the tablet.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, you have no proof she has the tablet. There were other people who had access to this that she has.
I have proof that I have pictures that her friends, and then was all at the house.
That's okay.
And they're showing that they went into the house.
Miss Williams, you have to have proof that she took your property. Now, I believe you when you say she was wearing your watch.
Excuse me, I told Reginald to bring my tablet and my watch to work with him Monday, and he had told me, yeah, but he had passed.
How much did you pay for the watch?
I paid $75 for the watch.
Do you have any proof that you paid $75 for the watch?
No, only proof I got is my tablet.
What kind of watch was it?
It was a Michael Kors watch.
And I assumed it was still running when you left it at Reggie's house.
Yeah, it was still ticking.
Anything else?
My tablet. Your Honor, she took my stuff. Brenda knows she took my stuff.
Miss Williams, I tried to explain it to you. I'm going to explain it to you once more.
Okay, I'm okay.
You have to have proof
He's dead.
that Miss Robinson took your property. That's the tablet.
Well, my proof was him, but he's dead, and the dead cannot talk.
I can't even listen. I can perform magic, but even that's a little hard for me.
Well, yeah, I wish you could.
If that's the proof, and he's dead, I can't resurrect him. Yeah. Do you understand?
I wish you could.
But I believe she had your watch. And I don't know exactly how much you paid for it, but you say you paid $75 for it from somebody on the street. I'm awarding you the $75.
Okay, that's fine.
Done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues. Judy.
She should be paying child support.
An ex-wife comes up short.
She was paying regularly and then just stopped.
And the new wife has to have her say.
There had been a decline in her behavior.
I don't think it's a good idea for you to discuss that.
Judge Judy.
Well, I was kind of disappointed because he can't speak for me, you know, but my tablet and watch was there.
Because I don't wear watch. My wrist is too little for watches. I don't wear watches.
If I get paid for the tablet, for the watch, why are they not going to pay me for the tablet? Both of them sitting in the same spot.
The situation at the hospital, you know, I'm done with it. I just rather not.
But like I said, the dead can't talk, so I don't have no evidence for that, you know.
I mean, I didn't pay no attention. I ignored it.
Rest in peace, Reggie. I love you.
I'm having a good time down here, thanks.
That's a shame.
Her ex is quick to mouth off.
I loaned Chris $8,500.
I don't owe her any money.
Show me the emails.
But will his comments,
It's taken a long time.
I have nothing but time.
come back to bite him?
Now I'm going to hear your counterclaim. Let's do it and talk fast.
If it wouldn't cut me off, I'd be able to talk fast.
What did he just say?
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin.
Sarah Wenzel is suing her ex-boyfriend, Christopher Wood, for a loan to buy a Harley-Davidson and for harassment.
Order. All rise.
Now, it's case number 247 on the calendar in the matter of Wenzel versus Wood.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, please.
Mr. Wood, I'm going to start with you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay? Because I see that you're here and you have no evidence in front of you. A little piece.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's all you need. That must be for tinted windows.
An exhaust system. My countersuit.
Now, she has a whole bunch of papers. You have a whole bunch of papers there?
I do.
And your lawsuit claims that he owes you money for a loan that you took out for him for a motorcycle?
Yes, ma'am.
And it was at a time when, despite the fact that you're neighbors and you've been neighbors for a while, you briefly dated.
Yes, Your Honor.
And it was during this time that you were dating that you allegedly took out this loan for him. You also have another part of your lawsuit for harassment, annoying behavior. I don't know if I'm going to bother with that. But what I want to know is, what proof do you have to show me that you actually took out a loan for him and gave him the money to buy this bike, because he says he has never taken a dime from you?
Your Honor, I was at the bank taking out the personal loan to loan him the money for the motorcycle.
For him?
For Chris.
For Chris. And Chris responded to you?
He did.
In text messages?
He did.
Okay, then stop. Okay. Now, she has that.
I'd like to see that.
I'm going to see it.
Awesome.
So when did you give him money, in what month and year, to buy a motorcycle?
I loaned Chris the money on March 5th, 2015, in the amount of $8,500.
If you checked DMV records, would it indicate that there was a transfer of title to you for a motorcycle on or about the 5th of March, or the 7th of March, or the 10th of March, 2015?
No, Your Honor.
So you did not purchase a motorcycle in that year?
I've purchased 3 motorcycles in that year.
Year. When?
I purchased the last one a few weeks ago.
No, 2015.
Purchased one the middle of January.
January 2015?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Purchased another one probably 2 months after that, March.
That's what we're talking about,
Yeah,
March.
we're not talking about...
No, we're talking about March. So you did purchase one in March?
Yeah,
Good.
At the end of March is when I purchased
2015?
one. Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Now tell me the circumstances surrounding you taking out this loan for him.
I moved into the house that I live in February 1st, 2015. I'm 4 houses down from Chris. Hanging out, everything. We got along
very
great.
nice. Great. Hanging out.
He came to me the first week in March and said that he had found a motorcycle from a private party up near Sacramento, California. The person selling the bike was asking $7,500, and he said the bike was worth almost twice that much. He asked he could borrow the money from me, and he promised to pay me back 3 to 4 months later.
From what?
He promised to pay me back the loan amount.
From what money?
From the loan. I took a loan out from the bank.
I understand. From what was he going to pay you back in 3 or 4 months? From his paycheck? Was he going to sell this motorcycle?
He told me that he was going to turn around and sell the bike for double what it was worth. He said $14,000. And
he didn't have the money?
He didn't have the money.
What do you do for a living?
I am a registered dental assistant.
Do you work for a dentist full-time?
I do.
Same dentist?
Yes, for 14 years.
And what do you do, Mr. Wood, for a living?
I'm a tattoo artist.
Do you have your own business or you work for someone else?
I work for somebody else.
For how long?
I've been a tattoo artist for 25 years.
I'm talking about the person that you're currently working for. How long have you been working for them?
2.5 years.
Are you paid by check or cash?
Cash. I get paid by check by my other job. I run a CNC machine.
You get paid in cash by the tattoo parlor that you work for.
Yes, sure.
How, because I asked you how you supported yourself. How much do you make as a tattoo artist?
Depends on the piece.
Well, if you say that that's your living, how much do you make a week?
I don't know, maybe $600 a week.
And in your other job where you get paid by check, what kind of job is that?
I'm a setup technician on a CNC machine. I make aluminum rims, motorcycle parts.
And the name of the company that you work for?
All tech, technology. I'm not sure what that has to do with this case, but okay.
How long have you worked for them?
For a year.
You work an 80-hour week?
No.
You work a 40-hour week?
25 hours a week.
So you're not a full-time employee?
Nope.
How much do you get paid from them?
Probably $400 a week.
Okay, so we're now in March 5th, 2015. He's got this great opportunity to buy a motorcycle. Tell me what you did.
That morning, I went to Coast Hills Federal Credit Union and applied for a personal loan in the amount of $8,500.
Why?
Chris had asked me...
Well, if he asked you for $75, why did you apply for $85?
He asked me to take out $8,500 so that he had an additional $1,000 to pay for the tax, license, and registration on the bike.
That's funny.
Okay, keep going.
I did get approved for the loan for $8,500, and I met him afterwards with the cash. That evening, he drove up to Sacramento with Lauren to pick up the motorcycle. And sent me pictures of the bike, promised to pay me again on time. Within 3 to 4 months, he would have the full amount paid off back to me in cash.
Show me. He says you never gave him any money.
I have text messages from that day.
Did you take this from your phone?
I did.
I'd like to see it on your phone.
Well, Your Honor, Chris broke my phone. He punched my phone, but this is the phone that has all the evidence.
Wow. I'd like to see it.
Okay.
No, I don't want to see it. I want you to get it up so I can
can't
read
turn it on. It won't turn on.
Go figure.
When did he break your phone?
The following month, in April.
In 2015?
Yes.
So how did you manage to get these?
Shortly after I loaned him the motorcycle loan money, I think
How did you manage to get these?
I emailed them to myself. And I had concerns that I wasn't going to get paid back at that point. And one night I went through and I emailed some text messages to myself. And then shortly after, he broke
Show me the emails.
Those are I have them.
No, I want to see them on a machine.
Do you want them on my I can show you on my phone.
It's taking a long time to see.
I have nothing but time.
I do too. I'm having a good time down here, thanks.
That's a shame.
Well, not for me. It gets me out of town.
Your Honor, I have these on my phone, but I would have to go all the way through from...
I have time.
She just said she had plenty of time.
Sir. Don't do that, okay?
Yes, sir. Your Honor, in regards to that, can I show you my text messages from her recently of her sending me pictures of herself? You know, she's saying all this stuff. Well, I mean, I got my stuff ready right here, so I don't have a huge stack of papers.
It's not your turn yet, Mr.
Okay.
Wood. You have to wait your turn.
Yes, Your Honor.
While she's looking for that, why don't you stand up here? I have a few questions for you.
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you and Mr. Wood been roommates?
Oh, we've been roommates for, what, 3 years?
Don't look at him. Look at me. How long have you been roommates with Mr. Wood?
We have lived in this residence together for 3 years. Prior to that, we lived in another residence together for 6 years. I've known Mr. Wood for a long time.
And your relationship with him is strictly as a roommate?
It's been other things, but at the time, yes, we're roommates. And at the time that this happened, we...
I got it.
All right, good.
Social.
Correct.
Are you on social time now?
No.
Or roommate time now?
Roommate time for quite a while.
Do you remember going to pick up the motorcycle?
No.
In March?
No, I don't recall this.
Did you ever go and pick up a motorcycle with him?
Yeah, several times.
This motorcycle was where, Miss Wenzel?
Up near Sacramento, California.
Do you remember that?
No, I don't. We would have had to get a trailer to get a motorcycle, and we haven't been in a possession of a trailer for a long time. We normally buy local.
Your Honor, that's not true.
Shh. Do you have a car?
I have a car, yes.
And Mr. Wood not only buys motorcycles, but he rides them.
Correct.
So all you needed was a ride one way. You don't need a trailer because he could ride the motorcycle back.
Not necessarily, because sometimes they're not working.
Well, this one was working because it cost $7,500.
Okay, well...
So this one was working, and it's capable of being driven, because Mr. Wood's not a stupid man, is he?
Well, no.
So he wouldn't spend $7,500 on a non-working motorcycle.
I haven't. I haven't spent $7,500 on a...
Ever?
No. I buy Dynas, Harley Dynas for $5 to $6 grand. I never exceed that because then I can't double my profit, so...
Okay, did we find anything yet?
I'm still, every time I go back, it brings me back up. I have them on here. I emailed them to myself. They're in here. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I would have saved... Right.
Other than the emails, photographs that you took a photograph, a snapshot of your phone, is that what you did, and then emailed it to yourself?
Of my broken phone?
Of the text messages,
Yes,
Miss Wenzel.
Your Honor.
Is that what you did? You took a photograph of your phone.
I screenshotted it and emailed it to myself.
And you did that because, just for my own information, why would you do that if it was on your phone?
Chris started exhibiting some aggressive behavior towards me, and by the time the first loan payment was due on April 19th of 2015, I called him 2 days prior on the 17th and asked him for the money, and he told me, now's not the time to be asking me for this. I don't have time for this. And my concern immediately was that he was not going to be paying me for the loan.
Okay, now I want you to tell me the date that he destroyed your phone, and then we're going to take a recess. And
He destroyed my phone around the middle of April 2015.
Tell me how.
My phone had gone off, and he picked it up and was reading a text message from a friend and got mad and punched it, and he was wearing a ring.
Which friend?
My friend Jesse.
Okay, we're going to take a break. You're going to go find it, and as soon as you find it, I'm going to come back. Good. Oh, great. Perfect. Just in the nick of time.
I'll star those for you. They're the starred ones right there. She just has to click on it.
I don't want to even touch it. I'm afraid I'll touch it. Who's Gleason?
My daughter's dad.
Iced. Would you have her get it back, please?
Your Honor, may I speak while we have a few moments? Having known Chris for so long, I know that he's a really resourceful person. If he hypothetically needed this money to buy a motorcycle, he would figure out a way to make that money.
Sit down.
Yes, ma'am.
He figured out a very resourceful way of getting the money.
Why wouldn't she get a contract written out? I mean, that's what I would do.
Am I addressing you?
No, ma'am.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You damaged my credit. You didn't loan me any money, you psycho. Okay, well, it certainly appears, sir, that you didn't like each other at some point. Okay. Now I'm going to hear what you have to say. Tell me who you are.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Sarah Wenzel says, ex-boyfriend Christopher Wood owes for a loan and for harassment. Christopher is countersuing for window tinting and an exhaust system.
Now, $8,500, right? I'm applying for it right now. That's what I want to see. I want to see that on the
Yes,
machine.
I know my phone's thinking right now.
All I want to see is what this says on there. Got it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything else you want to show me?
Your Honor, I have copies of the payments for the loan during the last year and a half. More recently, I've had to call the local police department for Chris harassing me.
Let's not get into harassment.
Okay.
Let us get into loan. What other proof do you have other than this, which is some evidence that he was happy that you were getting $8,500 and he still hoped that they had the bike, and that was in March of 2015. Let me see what proof you have, if you have any, that he made the first few payments, because he did make payments.
He did, Your Honor. I have copies of the receipts from the bank, from the payments made and the months that he paid me.
Just a second. Did he pay you or did he pay the bank?
He paid me in cash. And then I would go to the bank and make the payment. He refused to go to the bank and make the payment.
How much did he pay you in cash?
$2,800. He made 10 payments.
And what were the monthly payments?
$280.
When did he stop making?
Received one payment from him, which is April of 2016. That was the last payment I received from him.
Tell me the circumstances surrounding that payment in April of 2016.
I just continued to call him and text him, and...
Well, that would be on the new phone.
Right, on my newer phone.
On your newer phone?
Right.
I'd like you to show me some of those texts.
Okay, I have.
On the newer phone.
She texts me a bunch of times harassing me, and I've asked her numerous times to stop texting me.
Your Honor, may I introduce to you my witness?
No, I want you to do exactly what I want, which is to get me the recent texts after April of this year, or even before April when he made the last payment. It was a result of you constantly texting him and trying to get him to make a payment, and that you should have on your new phone.
Scrolling through all the naked pictures sent me.
I'm not looking at your phone, Mr. Wood. You have no cause of action that requires that I look at your phone.
You shouldn't.
So put it away.
I'm reading
Put it away.
Oh, okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Now I'm going to hear your counterclaim.
I paid to get her
Let's
windows
do it
tinted.
and talk fast.
I'm sorry?
Let's do it and talk fast.
That's all. Well, if it wouldn't cut me off, I'd be able to talk fast.
What did he just say?
Real people. Judge Judy.
Sarah Wenzel has accused ex-boyfriend Christopher Wood of owing for a loan and harassment. Christopher has a countersuit for window tinting and an exhaust system.
Now, what I'm really interested in, Ms. Wood, since we have a question as to not whether there was a loan, but if ever money was transferred from you to Mr. Wood, I understand that you took out a loan. What I want to see is him acknowledging, other than what I've seen so far, listen to me, I don't need it from you. I need it from him. Do you understand? So sit on your hands. Don't raise your hand again.
Exactly.
Got it? It would have been sometime in March if he paid you in April.
Your Honor, if you click on these are all regarding the loan.
Great. You show it to Bird. He knows how to click. I don't know how to click.
So just click on it and then you can arrow back. So the first one is from, you can just scroll through here.
Things were going so well. I'm not touching it.
Okay.
You didn't loan me any money, you psycho. I don't have a loan through you. I loaned you money, and in February and March, plus $6,500 you owe for the loan. You've damaged my... Is there a thing here? I didn't loan you any money. Okay, well, it certainly appears, sir, that you didn't like each other at some point. Okay. Now I'm going to hear what you have to say. Tell me who you are.
My name's Christina, and I've worked with Sarah for 10 years. I witnessed Mr. Wood twice in the summer of 2015 come by our office. One time I was inside, and I witnessed him hand her money out the driver's window of his pickup. She went right after that and told me she was running to make the loan payment, and I also witnessed him come into our office one day, and she said, "Do you have my money for the loan payment?" And he said, "Later, afterwards."
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I've gone to her work numerous times. She gives me boxes of gloves at a wholesale cost.
You
I
owe
pay
her the
for
money.
gloves. No. Okay. I don't owe her any money.
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
You do.
Yeah.
You owe the rest of the loan. Now I'm going to hear your counterclaim.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Closed captioning sponsored by... Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
I paid to get her
Let's
windows
do it
tinted.
and talk fast.
I'm sorry?
Let's do it and talk fast.
That's all. Well, it wouldn't cut me off. I'd be able to talk fast.
What did he just say?
If you didn't cut him off, maybe he'd talk fast.
Okay, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. Your counterclaim is dismissed.
Wow.
Parties are excused. You may step out. Good move.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
He became aggressive. He didn't want to contact me.
I stopped talking to her. She got mad. She got her feelings hurt.
He would block my cell phone number, my work number, my home number.
She got a 5-year-old that looked up to me. I didn't want anything to do with her.
He insisted on putting a muffler on my car so he could hear my vehicle as I would pull in and out of our cul-de-sac.
Brought in my evidence, but kind of bit the bullet at the end, so.
He would watch me from cameras inside his home, and he stalked me.
Should have kept my mouth closed towards the end.
He preyed upon me. He's that kind of person.
She's my neighbor. She rents, I own. She should move out.
I am just gonna stick to my gut feeling and move on.
I'm just glad it's done and over with.
You did the right thing by taking her to court. She should be paying child support.
An ex-wife comes up short.
How do you support yourself?
I just got laid off.
Was impatient.
She was paying regularly, $20 here, $100 here. Everything just stopped.
When she lost her job.
No, she was still working.
And the new wife has to have her say.
There had been a decline in her behavior.
I don't think it's a good idea for you to discuss that.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Gary Copeland is suing his ex-wife, Denisha Copeland, for her share of their son's extracurricular activities and orthodontic bills.
Order. All rise. It's case number 254 on the calendar in the matter of Copeland versus Copeland.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Mr. Copeland, the defendant is your former wife.
Yes.
You have 2 children, and according to what I read, you were divorced in 2006.
Yes.
How old are your children now?
My oldest one, Robert's 17, and Xavier's 14.
And when you divorced, Robert lived with you?
No, he was living with the grandmother. I was incarcerated.
When did Robert come to live with you?
December 2011.
And your other son?
Xavier, he moved in with me May of last year.
Prior to that, was he living with his mother?
Yeah.
And in your divorce, was there any mention of time of the divorce?
Yes.
Okay, so you divorced him while he was incarcerated?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what was the date of your release?
July of 2007.
Haven't been back?
Nope.
Good for you. Okay, this is what the case is about. I assume that neither one of you has, over the course of the last 10 years, paid child support to the other. Is that correct?
No.
Have you paid child support to her? No.
No.
And you have not paid child support to him?
No.
Each of you had one child living with you, and that sounded like a reasonable thing to do. You took care of your son's expenses, of Xavier's expenses, and you took care of Robert's expenses. Reasonable. But last year, Xavier decided he wanted to live with you. And they're both in high school. This is what the case is about, and have many extracurricular activities. And Xavier had some dental expenses.
Robert did.
Robert had some dental expenses. And according to you, your former wife agreed to split those expenses with you, because now you have both boys living with you. And that's what you're suing for, half of those expenses, which are a little over $2,000. I'm going to start with you, Mrs. Copeland. How do you support yourself?
I just got laid off. I was working at Save Mart. I was a clerical worker. I was there for 3 years, but they just closed that company down, so I am unemployed right now.
As of what date?
August 18th.
You receive unemployment?
Waiting, but I will be getting it, and they said I will be getting like $3.99 a week, but I have not received it at all.
Who do you
yet.
live with?
I live by myself.
What's your rent?
My rent is $700 a month.
How'd you manage to pay your rent in September?
Well, I'm not going to have my apartment anymore, so I gave a 60-day notice, so, because I'm not going to be able to pay it.
Where are you moving?
That I don't know yet.
You have an idea.
I think I'm probably going to share, rent a room from somebody, because I do not have the money. I'm going to go back to school, so they're going to pay, EDD is going to pay for me to go to school, so.
Have you tried to find another job?
Well,
since August?
I'm going to go to school. The EDD is offering, since it was such a major layoff, they're offering to pay for us to go to school. So I want to go to learn how to take blood to be a phlebotomist. That's what I'm going to go into.
And how are you going to support yourself while you do that?
I'll get unemployment while I'm going to school. And the class that I want to take to be a phlebotomist is not very long. It's like a 4-month class before I could get my certificate. So that's what I plan on doing.
Did you discuss that with your former husband?
We really don't talk much.
Do you see both Xavier and Robert?
Yeah, I'm supposed to get them on the 2nd and 4th weekend of the month. Although usually when it's my time to see Robert, since he's 17, he has a job, he has a girlfriend, he usually has things to do, and so he doesn't come. He comes.
When did you have this conversation with Mrs. Copeland about sharing expenses? What month?
May of last year, when Xavier moved in with me.
So he was with you September of 2015, October of 2015,
all during the summer.
November, December, the entire 2015, and part of 2016. So you did have expenses. Tell me when you first asked Mrs. Copeland to pay any of those expenses.
As soon as they started arising.
Well, let me see. Do you have anything in writing?
It's all labeled, and the pages are behind it. It's all the receipts.
No, I'm not looking for the receipts. I'm asking you when, Mr. Copeland, you first said to her, because then she was working in 2015, when you first said to her, I need to pay some of these expenses.
June 3rd, that's when she made the first payment, so that's basically when she's...
Your Honor, if I may approach the bench.
Just a second.
Okay.
See at the very bottom, those are when she made the payments. She was paying, had a good communication, she was paying regularly, coming $20 here, $100 here, and then just stopped. Everything just stopped.
When did it stop?
That last payment, August 9th.
August of this year?
Yeah.
When she lost her job?
No, she was still working.
And she's currently working.
She's currently working right now.
Where?
Can I sit more evidence right here?
Absolutely.
And here's a screenshot. It's just going up. So she's working. Just have a screenshot up. A lot of the days she's supposed to pick up the boys, those are the dates she's, just scroll up. Those are all the days she's been doing it. And that's how she's been supporting herself, I believe.
Could be. Should return this. This is what I'm going to suggest that you do, Mr. Copeland. You see, what you're doing is you're coming to me, you and your former wife made an agreement instead of going to family court and saying, well, we each don't have a child living with us anymore. What we have is we have me taking care of both boys. So I need a formal order, or we can work it out. If you went to family court and got a formal order, if she was working, and she was working then, she would have had to have paid a certain amount of money to you for the support of both children. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You chose to deal with this in another way, independently, which is fine. And she was paying you bits of money, 20 here, 40 here, 100 here. But at this point, she's coming in and she's saying to me, I have no regular source of income, and request for the family court order of support to be suspended while she's unemployed, or take a certain amount of money from her unemployment insurance every week, which you would be entitled to. What kind of work do you do?
Maintenance worker.
You work for the same company?
No.
Explain that to me.
Prior to the beginning of the year, I was working the refineries. That's like a contractor's job, you know, off and on. So I got hired on as a maintenance worker at a bottling plant. So I full-time.
And you're remarried?
Yeah.
This is your wife?
Yes.
She works?
Yep.
You have any other children other than these two boys?
Yep.
How old are they?
7, 9, and 10.
And the 7, 10, and 9-year-olds are your biological
Just
children?
the youngest one.
Just the 7-year-old?
Yeah.
And the 9 and 10-year-old are yours from previous marriage, but you work?
Yes, I do work.
So it's very nice that you want to go to school, and I think it's probably a very wise idea. But you will be collecting unemployment, and this is the path that you chose. You have to pay him money out of your unemployment insurance every week. Well, how much do you intend to pay him?
I have no problem giving anything. Like, he's going after me for child support. I have to go to court on November. I just received that in the mail, too. So I'll be going to child support court on November 16th, I believe. I'm going to...
Take care of it? Yes.
I'm on a divorce. They said the child support was to be reserved. The child support I'm going after for November is... This is from stuff from behind us. The child support is a whole different thing. I'm just...
No, it isn't.
No?
No.
Okay.
No, it isn't.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I certainly hope that the court sets an amount that's reasonable, because they should be able to rely on you contributing to the support of your minor children. Going back to school is very nice, but you have children and you have a responsibility to them.
And later today...
You said you got pulled over and you got a ticket for having the baby in the wrong kind of a car restraint. You didn't say anything. It was your fault that brought the car's attention to the state trooper to begin with.
Yeah.
You left that out.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Gary Copeland says ex-wife Denisha Copeland owes for her share of their 17-year-old son's expenses.
Now, if she was paying you consistently until she lost her job, which your memo, which you prepared for this case, seems to indicate, and she was, in fact, contributing something until her circumstance changed, and that was well over a year, right? You're going to have to go to court and get an order of support. And you can ask the court to make...
Okay.
And they will fix what they deem to be a reasonable order retroactively. But I'm not getting involved with, I just bought Xavier a jacket and your portion of the jacket is $25. I mean, you did the right thing by taking her to court. She should be paying child support. Your wife has children. She works. She contributes to their support. Well, so did she.
Can I approach the bench?
Sure. No, don't approach the bench. You can stand there.
Okay, thank you.
No, there.
Okay, so the reason that we had started to document this and the reason that we are coming here today is because the payments were never consistent. Just to give you an example, Robert had his braces that were coming up. The down payment was $500. I had given her a 6-month period to make that payment, which we had never received a payment towards that in 6 months. So
why didn't you go back to court then?
Because there was never a court order.
But that's what you're doing now.
Well, yeah, so that's what happened. So the verbal agreement was working very well for us. We were having a very good open communication. We were receiving payments, okay? That is correct. 8 months ago, we noticed that there had been a decline in her behavior. We were doing things as a family prior to that. It came abruptly to a stop. Her behavior changed 8 months ago. 4 months ago, it was complete stop of making the payments and the communication. That's why we're here today, is because we are now dealing with financial responsibility of the braces, which was...
Is what getting involved in a jacket?
The braces. The braces, yes.
Fine. Then let's talk about the braces.
Okay.
Who were the braces for?
Robert.
Now, Robert was initially your responsibility.
Yeah.
He's lived with you. When did you have the discussion with your former wife about the braces for Robert?
January.
January of this year?
Yep.
How much were the braces?
Braces.
Mrs. Copeland, how much were the braces?
I believe they were like 2,000 and something, which I have medical. I have Kaiser for the next 3 months. Even though I got laid off, I still have medical. And my Kaiser paid for some of those braces.
Just a second.
But I think it's like 2,000, something
Just
like
a second.
that.
With the braces, $2,000.
$5,800.
I'd like to see it.
That's the additional cost.
Now, you had a discussion with her in January. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did any of her insurance cover any portion of the braces?
Yes, it did.
How much?
$1,200. It's right down the paper.
I have insurance as well that covers them.
So it was double insurance.
Yes.
Okay. So your out-of-pocket expenses were half of this $5,800.
Yes.
Did you make any payments whatsoever other than insurance?
I believe that I did come and bring Gary some money for the braces. I don't know if it was like, but it was something towards, and I know I got it. They were like, it was supposed to be 67 something a month I was supposed to give them, and I did go and take Gary a payment.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You say she took the citation from me and reiterated that she would pay it, but it wasn't her ticket, it was your ticket.
Yeah.
But you needed the citation to pay the ticket.
Mm-hmm.
What, am I talking to myself?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Gary Copeland says ex-wife Denisha Copeland owes for her share of their 17-year-old son's expenses.
Okay, let us say that she owes half of what the balance was, which was $2,400 after insurance, which would bring her portion down to $1,200. Did she make any payments towards the $1,200?
The one payment.
For?
$68 she gave me.
And that's what you remember? Okay. Your child support obligations are going to be fixed by a court in November. I certainly hope that the court sets an amount that's reasonable, but it should be consistent because they should be able to rely on you contributing to the support of your minor children, no different from if you were a guy who decided to go back to school, going the responsibility to them. I think that you did acknowledge that you agreed to pay for half of the unreimbursed dental costs for your son, because that's evidenced by the fact that you said, I did make a payment, right? Your portion was $1,200. If you made a $67 payment, the balance is $1,133, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Judgment for the plaintiff. They're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I believe that she made the right decision.
I'm happy with the decision.
I just think they're kind of money hungry right now.
For the kids, I go without and she don't.
When my kids turn 18, I don't have to deal with him anymore.
I'm happy with that.
Really choose who you have your kids with, because you have to deal with them for the rest of your life.
Do what's right for the kids and don't worry about the eggs.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Berry versus Russell. Step forward.
21-year-old Asia Berry is suing her former friend, 20-year-old Onisha Russell, for an unpaid traffic ticket and late fees.
Miss Berry, do you have any children?
No, ma'am.
And Miss Russell is a friend of yours. She does?
Yes.
She has one child?
One child.
A baby?
A baby.
How old?
She's 2 at the moment. No, actually 3 now.
Some time ago, you and Miss Russell were going someplace. Where were you going?
We was going to pay a deposit for an apartment we was getting ready to move into.
Did you ever move into that apartment together?
Yes.
How long did you live together?
About a good 3 months.
Going to make the deposit. According to you, Miss Russell put her baby in a baby seat in your car.
Yes.
So tell me, what did you use as a car seat?
It was like a little mini mouse, like a little high chair booster. It's like both. It's a high chair and a booster seat at the moment.
It's a high chair. What happened is you got pulled over by the police?
Yes.
For what?
For driving slow in a fast lane.
Did you get a ticket for that?
I did.
How much was the ticket?
I don't recall, Your Honor.
Did you pay the ticket?
Yes, along with her ticket.
Just a second. You paid your ticket?
Yes.
When did you pay your ticket?
The same time I paid the whole ticket.
No, that's not my question. When did you pay the ticket?
February 24, 2016.
When were you supposed to pay it?
30 days prior to the time.
So you had penalties?
Yeah.
A lot of penalties?
I did.
And all those penalties together added up to what amount?
$485, and I believe 63 cents.
Was that for both tickets?
Yes.
Okay. You got pulled over for driving too slow, but you also got a ticket for having her baby in the wrong kind of car seat.
Yes.
And that ticket was given to you. as the driver of the car.
Yes.
How many pieces of paper did the police officer give you?
One.
For both tickets. To me, why you're suing her for $948?
I'm suing her for that, for her unpaid ticket and late fees, but I also know half of those tickets belong to me.
I wouldn't have known that unless I asked you that question, because you didn't say anything about that in your complaint.
Yeah.
You said you got pulled over and you got a ticket for having the baby in the wrong kind of a car restraint.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't say anything. It was your fault that brought the car's attention to the state trooper to begin with.
Yeah.
You left that out.
Mm-hmm.
And you just told me that both tickets together with fines and penalties were $485.
Yeah.
And it was all on one ticket. So
Yeah.
when you said here, and I may be wrong, you say she took the citation from me and reiterated that she would pay it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't her ticket, it was your ticket.
Yeah. But she told me she would pay for her child's part of the ticket because it's her child.
Just a second.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the whole ticket. You say she took the citation from me.
Yeah.
And said, well, you needed the citation to pay the ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. What, am I talking to myself?
No.
Where's the $985?
With the late fees I paid.
Show me. I thought you said it was $485.
Here's the $485 I paid for the late fees.
Yes,
and
you did.
here is the ticket I paid for St. John Parish.
I don't know if these are two different amounts.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, I don't know what this is for. They're both on the date of the notice is February 24th, 2016.
That's the papers the DMV gave me.
Okay. I can't help you. Not only can I help you, I don't want to help you. The reason that the car was pulled over is because you were not driving properly.
Mm-hmm.
You also, as the owner of the car, are responsible to see to it that a child who was in your car is in an appropriate seat.
But she's the mother. I assume she strapped her down securely. I don't have no children, Your Honor.
Well, if you're going to take a child in your car, you better know what kind of car seat you're required to have.
Mm-hmm. You're right.
Good, because I have no idea what her portion of the ticket is, nor do you, because there was one ticket.
Yeah.
Do you have any indication of what her portion of the ticket is?
No.
Good. Makes my job so much easier. Thank you. We're done.
Why is that excused when they step out?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I feel she should be responsible of her child with the correct paperwork, and she should have put her in the proper car seat. What's her fault? Very terrible. I no longer deal with her. I don't care about her. It's a done deal. I'm done.
The Fender Bender.
She was cutting right in front of me. I was already in the left-hand lane when she came up behind me.
The innocent onlooker.
You got involved because you witnessed the accident.
I was right there, yes.
You want to tell me who's telling me the truth?
But will she get damaged in the process?
The defendant is the blue vehicle. I was behind her. She's lying.
Somebody who drives around without insurance doesn't speak.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
25-year-old Karen Terrazone is suing fellow motorist Pamela Salazar for causing an accident when she cut her off.
Order. All rise. Your Honor, this is case number 267 on the calendar in the matter of Terrazone versus Salazar.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, please.
This is an automobile accident case, and each of you claim that the other is responsible for the act.
April 25th of this year, 6:30 p.m.
What kind of car were you driving?
2001 Jetta Volkswagen, black.
When had you purchased it?
Around 2008.
And at the time of the accident, did you have full coverage, and with what company?
I did not have full coverage.
Did you have liability?
Yes, liability coverage.
With what company?
USAA.
And what kind of car were you driving, Miss Salazar?
A 2003 Chevy Tahoe.
When had you purchased it?
Approximately 6 months previous to the accident.
How much did you pay for it?
$2,500.
Was that the total cost of it?
Yes.
Did you pay for it in cash?
Yes.
At the time of the accident, did you have liability coverage?
I did not. My insurance had lapsed the day before.
Which is why we're here. Because if your insurance hadn't lapsed, your insurance would have taken care of.
Correct. My policy was being rewritten and the...
Whatever, but if your policy wasn't being rewritten, we wouldn't be here today because your insurance would have covered the accident and would have paid for her damage. Is that correct?
Probably.
Probably.
They might have found fault with her, though.
Probably not. You want to tell me what happened?
Yes, I was out of my commute from work.
Show me where.
In this diagram here, I was turning left here, and I had a green light. She was in the next lane next to me, right here. She had a red light. So she was at a complete stop. I had the right of way. I was turning left. Action time to brake, and we hit right on the side here, not bumper to bumper, but to the side. So my right...
So she was going around you?
She was cutting right in front of me to make the green light.
No, ma'am, I was already in the left-hand lane when she came up behind me.
If you were already in the left-hand lane, then...
Just a second. Just a second. Now you go over there.
Okay, the plaintiff's witness was not in this location. She was actually in front of my vehicle. She's in a small vehicle.
Why don't you tell me where your car was?
Okay, I was in this lane already. There's an island that comes out right here. I was in this lane right here. She was not behind me. The witness was in front of me, and I was here. I had the green. As I approached the arrow, it turned yellow. I decided to wait for the next light, and all of a sudden, she slammed into the back of me.
Okay.
It was not in the back of me.
I'm going to dismiss your case if you do it again. Do you understand?
Yes.
PW, plaintiff's witness. You were in a different car.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me your last name.
Goss.
Had you ever met Miss Tarazone before April 25th?
No, I did not.
And you don't know the defendant?
I don't know any of them.
You got involved because you witnessed the accident?
I was right there, yes.
You want to tell me who's telling me the truth?
Yes. Your Honor, I am the yellow defendant is the blue vehicle.
She's lying. She was in front of me.
I don't want you to speak. Somebody who drives around without insurance doesn't speak.
I have insurance right now, ma'am. I had 1 day with no insurance.
Just a second. Do you know how many cases that I do with people who went 1 day without insurance and just happened to get into an accident that 1 day? We cover an entire sweeps period in November with people who just had a lapsed policy. It was being rewritten. The stamp fell off the envelope. All kinds of other things. So let's be quiet. Go.
We were stopped at a red light, as you can see. The light had turned green for the left turn. The cars had started to go, and the cars in these lanes are stopped, and the car that was in front of me, which is the defendant, had turned in front of the car that is plaintiff, and she hit and landed on top of the island that is right there.
Who landed on top of the island?
I did. The plaintiff.
Did you follow these? Because I understand from both people that they tried to move the cars out of the way.
Continued to stay there, pulled up closer to her because they now are even further in front of me. So when I pulled up closer to her and I looked at her to see if she was okay because she was shaken up in her car, they both had gotten out, but it's a very busy intersection. So injured, everyone said everyone was fine. We then decided to try and get out of the lanes of traffic.
And you just gave her your information, your contact information. That's how you get here.
I did give her my information, and I did give her my information.
Okay, great. Were you in the car?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. You were in the car with whom?
My mother.
Go over there.
Yes, ma'am. I actually got out of the car when all of this happened with my mother to exchange information. And when we got out, we came over here, and the witness was actually in front of us.
So you're in the left-hand lane already, then?
Shh, shh. Don't. You're not following me. Do you understand?
Yes. Sorry.
When you got out of the car,
yes, ma'am.
The witnesses, Miss Goss, her car moved.
Yeah, yes. And she was in front of us when the accident happened, and I was actually the one that got her number from her, and her name, it's in my phone, and she told me that she was in front of us when she saw the accident, and I even then asked her, like, how could she have been in front of us and seen the accident if we're in a Tahoe and she was in a smaller car, and she was in a smaller car, too.
You still didn't tell me how the accident happened. We're not questioning this witness.
Okay.
Because you claim that your mother was not at fault.
Yes, ma'am.
And back there now, because I gave you a chance over there at that poster. I want you to tell me where you were going.
Home.
On what street do you live?
55th Street West.
And you were going home from where?
My mom was at work.
And where were you?
I was at work with her.
Do you work together?
No, ma'am.
So you had gone to her place of business?
Yes, ma'am.
to pick her up?
No.
She was driving?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you do that often, meet her at work to drive home?
Yes, ma'am.
How often?
Once a month.
Why?
She does nails, and she does my nails, and I get my nails done about once a month.
So you were going home?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know where 55th Street West is? This street, where is it in relation to 55th Street West, Miss Goss?
Probably 5 miles north, or west, I should say.
5 miles west?
West. We were heading west.
I was turning left on 20th Street West.
You were turning?
Heading south.
Yeah.
You were heading south?
Yes.
Okay. What I'm trying to figure out is a reason for the defendant to change lanes to make a left turn. Yes?
We lived just off M, and we were on J. So we were turning.
So there's a reason for you to turn left?
Yes, ma'am.
That's so wonderful. That makes it so wonderful. So there was a reason for you to turn left, and if there was a reason for you to turn left, can you go straight? Don't speak.
We were in a lane that was supposed to turn left. We were already in the left-hand turn lane when the accident happened.
Now go over there and show me where you were. Now go over there and show me where you were.
All the cars are a little forward. We were more back here. We were about here. And this island is like, kind of turns like this.
Right.
For the left-hand turn lane. And so we were right about here.
You were behind the plaintiff, is that what you're saying?
No, we were, well, she is here, but in real life, we were in front of her.
Just a second.
All these cars are pushed forward a little bit.
That's fine.
So
all the cars
all of them this way.
All the cars are pushed forward.
Right.
Were you in front of her or behind her?
In front.
You were in front of her.
Yes.
So now I want you to explain to me how you had an accident if you were in front of her. Come on.
Okay, so we were in front of her, and we were already in the left-hand turn lane, and she came, and she, like, honked at us and hit us and bounced off and landed on the island. And she literally bounced off, like I felt it. And I had time to turn around after she bounced off before I got out of the car, and I turned around and I saw her, like, on the island through the back window.
So I still don't understand how, if she was behind you,
right.
I don't understand how the accident happened.
I have a picture, Your Honor.
What part of be quiet don't you understand? I don't understand how the accident happened.
I don't understand either.
Good, very good. Okay. The accident happened and it all would have been resolved if your mother had insurance like she should have had.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
I was throwing some wood chips at him, and then he started throwing wood chips at me. And then I took the hat off his head, and then I put it...
Okay, so you took the hat off his head and put it in the...
trash.
Garbage.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Karen Terrazone says fellow motorist Pamela Salazar cut her off in a left turn lane. Pamela is countersuing for her damages.
Now, can I have a bill for the car, please? Is the car working now?
No.
Is it totaled?
Wouldn't say total, it just needs the repairs, and then it would be working fine. Because where the impact happened is the car has a turbo in it. So where it happened was on the side of the car, on the right fender, and that's where the turbo cooler happened to be. So it...
Would you check and see what it is?
I also have an estimate for my counterclaim.
Your counterclaim's dismissed.
Okay.
We don't reward people who drive around without insurance.
$25.50.
Okay, I mean, you can buy one that probably has lower mileage for less,
But my car was paid off, Your Honor.
I understand that.
So
I understand. I'm
don't...
going to give you the money to repair it.
Okay.
Because its value is greater than the amount of replacement.
Right.
$21.47 is what your estimate is. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Well, I'm a little disappointed because the plaintiff was lying and her witness lied, so I hope they can live with themselves and sleep at night.
She was definitely lying, and it's pretty sad that her mom was allowing her daughter to lie for her.
About the location of the car and how the accident happened.
I'm very disappointed for a mother to be here with her child and to encourage that behavior.
Slow down.
Drive safe.
Always have insurance.
and now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Glenn versus Harrison. Step forward.
Marty Glenn is suing the mother of her son's former schoolmate, Catherine Harrison, for the cost of damaged glasses.
I'd like the gentleman to come up
Okay,
and
stand
stand
up,
next to
gentlemen.
their moms. And actually, their moms are not necessary parties for me because neither one of you were there in school when this incident happened. Is that correct? And yours?
Jordan.
Now, Parker and Jordan used to be friends. They're 13 years old?
Yes.
And they've been friends for how long, Parker?
I would say about 6 months, 4 months.
From school?
From school, yeah.
Okay. And there was an incident in school when you guys were playing around. Now, Jordan, I want you to tell me what happened on that day.
So I was sitting on top of the slide, talking to my friends during PE because we had free time, able to do whatever we wanted. So while I was talking to my friends, Parker came by and he picked up a handful of wood chips and then threw them at me.
Wood chips?
Yes.
Is that what's on the floor of the playground?
Yes. Then he threw them at me. I told him to stop. Then he picked up another handful, threw them at me. And then I came down from the slide, walked up to him, told him to stop. He grabbed my hat and buried it in the trash.
Were you saying anything to each other?
No, I told him, all I did was tell him to stop.
You hadn't had any argument with him that day?
No.
Just playing around?
Well, the first time he threw it, I thought he was, and then he threw it again, and I started getting agitated. And then he buried my hat in the trash.
Who else was around you?
A couple of my friends.
Did your friends say anything to Parker?
At first they laughed, and then they saw me go down there, and they started to back me up and tell them to stop.
We're just going to stop you right there. What's happening?
Okay, so what happened was I was messing around with him, and so...
Okay, now, messing around means something.
Yeah.
It means different things to different people. To grown-up, messing around means something different from what it means to a 13-year-old. I want you to tell me exactly what you did when Jordan was sitting on top of the slide.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He said to me, "Do you want to fight?" So I felt uncomfortable, so I kind of like just nudged him away from me.
Show me what a nudge is. Would you go stand next to this young man? And I want to see what a nudge is.
Nudge gently, please.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Marty Glenn says her son's former schoolmate, 13-year-old Jordan Bernal, purposely broke her son's glasses.
I want you to tell me exactly what you did when Jordan was sitting on top of the slide.
Well, we were poking fun at each other.
Tell me.
So I was throwing some wood chips at him, and then
So you threw some wood chips at him while he was sitting on top of the slide. And then what did he do?
And then he came down.
So he threw them back at you. And?
And then I was down on the ground. Oh, and then, so I took the hat off his head, and then I put it...
you took the hat. Next thing, you reached over, took the hat off his head, and put it in the...
trash.
Garbage.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
And then he started to get mad, so I walked away from the area. I walked out of the playground area into, like, the field. Like, the playground's over here, and then the field's over there.
When he started to get mad, as you were putting in his hat in the garbage.
Yes.
He was saying to you, stop it.
Well...
He wasn't encouraging you to do it.
No, he got mad after I put the hat in the trash because I didn't see him start to get mad only after he
Well, you grabbed the hat off of his head, and what did you immediately do with it when you grabbed it off his head?
Well, I ran around with it.
Okay, so you grabbed it off his head, and then you ran around with it.
Yeah.
For how many minutes?
It was about just like 30 seconds or so.
And he was chasing you
around,
trying to get his hat back.
Yeah.
And then you stuffed it in the garbage.
Well, I set it on top of the garbage. I didn't really like stuff it, I just put it on top.
Okay, and then what happened?
And then it'll be time to go in soon.
Okay, so you walked away after you put his hat in the garbage, then you came back.
Mm-hmm.
How much time elapsed?
I'm gonna say 5 to 10 minutes.
And he didn't follow you?
No.
Nor did his friends follow you?
Mm-hmm.
They did not?
They didn't.
And then you came back and did what?
And then I came back to talk to my friends over there, and then only to see that another kid stuffed the hat back into the trash.
And then?
And then he started to get really mad, and then he said to me, "Do you want to fight?" So I felt uncomfortable, so I kind of like just nudged him away from me.
How does a nudge? Give me a show me what a nudge is. Bird, would you go stand next to this young man? And I want to see what a nudge is.
Gently, please.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, I want you to show me how you touched him.
Oh, I was kind of like that.
Okay, so he was coming over to you,
Yeah.
and you said to him, you want to fight?
Well, no, he said to me, do you want to
fight? And you
Yeah.
pushed him. And then?
And then he just tore them and then smashed them. He threw them on the ground. And then he exited the area towards the door to where the campus is. So I came to pick up my glasses and get my backpack, which is where the door was, to tell the principal. But then when I came to get my backpack, he started coming up to me and he started a fight. And then, yeah, he started throwing punches.
Just a second. So you want Mrs. Harrison to pay for the glasses?
Yes, ma'am.
That's not happening. Tell him to get a job and pay for his own glasses.
Why would that be?
That would be because he was the aggressor. That would be because he was the aggressor.
But a hat is not permanent damage
That
compared to...
would be because, well, if somebody put my hat in the garbage, I would not put it on my head again. And he was the aggressor to begin with. He was the initial aggressor and kept it going. And he was a bully who got his comeuppance. You pay for his glasses and tell him not to be a bully. We're done. Okay?
These are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
This is actually the first I've heard of that side of the story.
I don't think the kids should have started the fight in the first place.
I am shocked.
He got what he deserved, so.
I do not think it was a matter of bullying. I think that it was a matter of two children playing around and joking with each other.
Honestly, I mean, I think the kids learned a valuable lesson.
And one got too angry compared to the other one. The other one tried to stop.
If you're friends, don't treat each other badly between each other.
I didn't think of him as that kind of person to get that mad.
If he didn't throw the wood chips, it wouldn't have started, and I still would have been there talking to my friends.
Something like that, so that's why I thought it was okay.
I haven't talked to him in a while, so I don't know.
We're not really friends anymore, I guess, I would say.
They just worked under me. I told them what to do, and they did it.
Cheated out of their pay by an old friend?
I give them cash advances constantly, so for me to owe them kind of seems odd.
But are his hurt feelings
You had to suffer a hostile work environment.
also worth a few bucks?
Every once in a while, there'd be a low-blow statement, yelling, spittle, flying, stuff like that.
Do what? I don't think so.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
21-year-old Amaret Moctezuma and her former employer, Robert Miller, for unpaid wages and harassment.
Order. All rise.
Yeah, it's case number 284 on the calendar in the matter of Moctezuma Kribel versus Miller.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Kribel, how do you know the defendant?
Bob Miller was my parents' boss back in the 80s.
So you've known him since you were born.
Pretty much since I was around 7, I think.
And I gather from reading these papers, you are estranged from your parents.
Yes.
How long has it been since you've lived at home?
Up until I was 20.
How old are you now?
I'm 26.
And where do you live now?
Transient. Moving to Arizona.
Right now, you have no place to live.
Yes, because of the circumstances.
How old are you?
21.
And you're also estranged from your parents?
Yes.
For how long?
Since I was about 18.
And how long have you and Mr. Kribel been a couple?
Since I was 18.
So you've been together 3 years?
Yes.
And of those 3 years, how many of those 3 years have you been homeless?
Only a few months.
How many different places have you lived?
New Jersey, Los Angeles, Long Beach. That's about it.
In the 3 years that you've been together, how many jobs has Mr. Kribel had?
I couldn't give you, but several.
Several?
Yes.
Doing a variety of things?
Yes.
And he always paid him?
Yes.
Because he was a friend and he knew him.
Yeah.
Did you ever work for Mr. Miller?
Yes, recently.
Other than this case, did you ever work for Mr. Miller?
Once, one other time.
Doing what?
Residential painting.
When?
Around a year ago.
And what did you paint?
Houses.
Houses that he owned, houses that he...
Different clients' houses.
What clients? His clients?
Yes.
It was just one in November of last year.
And what kind of a client, Mr. Miller?
Painting the rental home, and it was vacant, and we repainted the entire thing, fixed the doors, whatever needed to be fixed.
And you subcontracted that out to them?
No, they just worked under me. I told them what to do, and they did it.
So you painted there, too?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
I'm on every job.
Is that what you do for a living?
Yes. It's all referral. We sell a high quality, so I have to be there.
Got it. I got it. That's your business. I didn't know that that was your business. Fine, now I understand. Okay, so he's been helpful to you.
Yes, it's kind of...
Now, I also hear from these papers that either one or both of you got into some trouble a while ago. Criminal trouble. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And there was a trial.
Yes.
Yes.
And did Mr. Miller testify on your behalf?
Charges got reduced, and we were granted probation.
Is that the only problem you've had with the law?
Yes.
Now, this is why you are suing Mr. Miller for $5,000. You claim that he owes you wages. In what amount?
It came to $668.75 for myself at 53 and a half hours at a rate of $12.50.
For myself, it's a pay of $10 times 53 hours, which came to $535.
Did they work for you during those hours, Mr. Miller?
They worked for me. He made $12 an hour, number one.
He made what?
$12 an hour. She made $10 an hour.
That's what
I
she
give
said.
them cash advances constantly.
Okay.
So for me to owe him kind of seems odd.
Okay. So you asked them to do this house painting for you again?
Yes.
Recently. When was that?
From August 25th to September 24.
And around August 25th, once you asked them to start the job, how much did you give them in cash advances? You must have that.
It varies, Your Honor. It started out $40 just for the day before. They didn't have enough money to get to the job. So I give them money to go. Then they don't even show up that day. So we're going to the following day. They showed up at the house and then fought and then left. And it's kind of problems.
Well, I understand that, but you're a businessman, and those advances were going to be offset with regard to wages.
Yes.
Then you have to have a record of those.
I do.
Fine, that's what I'm asking
Okay.
you.
I have their time cards current, except the last one they did not turn in. I have written it where you could understand it on another piece of paper. It's very difficult to understand a lot of their markings there, Your Honor.
Whose markings?
Joe Kribel and Amy.
What kind of markings?
What they did, how many hours they spent, when they showed up, and when they left.
You're not following me. I have a very simple question that I asked you. We're not how many hours they worked yet. How much money did you pay them in advances against their salary?
Well, this individual week says $460.
Just a second. Between the 25th of August and the 24th of September, how much in total did you pay them in advances? Just add it up, don't guess. And if you don't know, you say, I don't know.
I don't know, Your Honor. It was done in a weekly fashion. When payday come, you deducted what I'd paid them against what was owed them, and I gave them the balance every week.
Interesting.
This example was $460 in advances. The pay was $930. I gave them the balance, and we started over again.
Great. So you can just make those deductions. There's no question in my mind that you gave them advances because they live, right?
Yes.
So he gave you advances before you started working. Now, when you gave me this $668, did you count in the advances? That's
For
either
that
a
week?
yes or a no.
For that?
No, for the whole time you worked for him.
The number I gave you, there was no advances on that week.
Your Honor, that's not right either.
Just a second. You said that this was for 50 hours.
Yes.
Are you telling me you worked 50 hours in 1 week?
Well, it was 6 days. We were cramming in as many hours as we could because we had 10 days to finish the project.
So
what?
So is
with no breaks or anything.
We had 10 days to finish it, and I was there another month. I don't think so.
Well, we wouldn't have walked
Okay,
off
just a
if
second.
you
Let's do
weren't
this, Mr. Miller, then. What they said, I assume, is based upon their records, and their records may be cleaner than yours and not difficult to understand. Did you pay them for the last week that they worked? That's
I
either a yes
did.
or a no. Take a
Yes.
look. How much did you pay them for the last week that they worked, and what was that week?
That was the week of the 19th
of September.
They
how much
quit
did
the 24th.
Okay, so they left the 24th. So between the 19th and the 24th, they worked. How much did you pay them on the 24th?
I didn't pay them anything on the 24th.
Between the 19th and the 24th, they weren't paid.
I gave first. They missed
30,
Monday.
Just a minute. 30 and 50.
Yes.
Okay.
They did not work the 19th.
No,
or the 22nd or the 23rd. They didn't have any money coming.
Okay, just a second. So from the 19th to the 24th, they worked 2 days. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Is that correct?
I'll repeat that. I'm sorry.
Is
and
that
those
correct?
were 6.5-hour days and a 4-hour day. You had one with a 4-hour day, and then the other two, they worked 6.5 days. So.
Oh, so it was 3 days that they worked?
No, 2 days. We got 4 hours on the 20th from Joe.
Okay, so you have 4 hours from Joe on the 20th.
And on the 21st, we have 6.5 hours for each, Joe and Amy.
So she wasn't there at all?
No.
So those are the only 2 days that they worked between the 19th and when they quit on the 24th?
Yes.
Okay, good. So
they have 3 hours on that 24th day, and then that's when they quit. They walked off.
3 hours on the 24th, both of them?
And, Your Honor?
Just a second. And he made $12 an hour?
Yes.
So he worked 17 hours in those 3 days times 12 equals $204. And how much of an advance did you give him between the following dates, the 19th and the 24th? How much of an advance did you give him?
I give him $80.
On what date?
Was some outstanding.
124. And she worked 6.5 and 3, or 9.5 hours, and she made $10 an hour, right? Did you give her any advance?
No, just
as
it goes
opposed
to them.
him? Okay, about $220. Okay, in wages. Now the next part of your lawsuit is, see, he keeps good records. The next part of your lawsuit is that you had to suffer a hostile work environment. Did you suffer this hostile work environment when you painted for him before?
It was to a very minimal degree. It was kind of meant to be constructive. Every once in a while there'd be a low blow statement here and there, but it was something that, you know, with some thick skin, it's okay. But it progressed into something, he's going through some troubles in his life, and I think kind of created a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde situation, which kind of made it just worse, because seeing him as an elder, you know, like a family friend, somebody I consider a friend. So because it made that transition, just got intense, got bad.
Well, you want to give me an example, sir?
Basically, daily.
I don't want to hear basically.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
The two of you are homeless drifters who can't seem to find your way, and you had somebody who acted in sort of a parental role to you, who you're now suing because he called you a name when you mixed the wrong colors in the paint.
And later today,
I find the responsible young man, the first thing that you say is, oh, gee whiz, I'm so sorry. I was acting like a stupid kid, and I damaged your phone. I'll replace it. Is that what you said to her?
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Amaret Moctezuma and her boyfriend, Joseph Kribel, say their former employer, Robert Miller, owes for wages and harassment.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, daily I was called, you know, retarded for whatever issue would be. Maybe I, missed a certain task in a group of tasks.
What else?
He would get aggressive towards me.
Give me an example.
Fighting stance, yelling, spittle, flying, you know, stuff like that.
What else?
Just demeaning.
You've known him since you're 7 years old. This was a man who stood up for you in court. This was a man who gave you jobs. The two of you are homeless drifters who can't seem to find your way. And you had somebody who acted in sort of a parental role to you, who you're now suing because he called you a name when you mixed the wrong colors in the paint that you didn't like. And he became an aggressive stand. Never hit you.
No.
Never did anything.
Nothing physical.
Physical to you. He was more of a Dutch uncle to you than, because I can't say parent because you're estranged from your parent. What else?
His old friend, he was a biker buddy of Bob's. Bob's a Christian biker, and the other guy was a Hell's Angel. And when they got together, it was kind of like they were feeding off each other, you know, kind of, for lack of a better term, it became a contest, you know, and it just got worse and worse from there.
You mean they misbehaved in front of you?
Yes, they would, you know, basically...
I don't want to hear basically.
Okay,
That's not what I want to hear.
They would say rude things about me together. You know, he would say, oh, when I was 26 years old, this was where I was a Hell's Angel, I was armed to the teeth. Whereas look at you, and, you know, Bob referred to me as a peasant on the day that I was forced off the job.
Where are you working now?
Right now, I'm...
The name of the place. If I'm not working, say I'm not working.
I'm not working, but I'm going to another company.
I'm not working. And what about you?
I'm currently unemployed as well.
So the two of you still not working? Okay.
Yes, we were going to
He
use
owes
the
you
money
$220. We're done here. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You step out.
Do it the way I ask you, do it the way I do it, and it'll look like I did it, and I'll pay you.
There's other companies I've worked with that don't treat me like that. They see my value.
He's 26 going on 16. I got him up to 18.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of LeBlanc versus Tipper. Step forward.
20-year-old Meredith LeBlanc is suing her co-workers, Cindy Tipper, and her son, 17 damaged iPhone.
Miss LeBlanc, how old are you?
I'm 20.
And how old are you, sir?
I'm 17 years old.
This is your mother.
Yes.
And you work.
Yes, I do.
And you and Miss LeBlanc work at a trampoline park?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you had an accident with her phone?
Yes, there was an accident.
Yes. When did that happen?
I do not know the exact date, but it was about a month ago.
September 24th.
Tell me about the accident.
So me and Mary were sitting at the break room. It was
Mary and I.
Mary. Sorry, ma'am. Mary and I were sitting at the break room.
Sitting in the break room.
And she put her phone on an empty pizza box. I stabbed the pizza box with a pen that I had. It's not an unlikely thing to happen at the job. It's
just
not that weird. Sorry about that. I stabbed the pizza box.
Young man, listen. Young men who are 17 often do stupid things.
That's true.
Stabbing a pizza box is probably just one of the stupid things that young men who are 17 do. So you were stabbing the pizza box?
Once, yes.
Was it a large pizza, a medium pizza, or a small pizza?
I believe a large pizza.
Who had ordered the pizza?
A customer for a birthday party. It was an empty pizza box. It was garbage.
Okay, and it was just sitting on the top of the table in the break room?
Yes, ma'am.
So you took a pen. Where was the pen that you used to stab the pizza box?
It was on my lanyard.
Well, it was attached to you?
No, I took the pen off of the lanyard. I stabbed the pizza box, but that's not what flipped the phone. Mary had put her phone on the pizza box, and when I took the pen out of the pizza box, because she didn't move it from when I first stabbed it.
Just a second. So you stabbed it?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you went to pull it out?
Yes, after a couple seconds.
Just a second. And when you pulled it out, what happened?
The pizza box flipped open, the lid unfolded, and the phone flew across the table into a pitcher of fruit punch.
Okay. And it was damaged because it's not waterproof.
Yes.
Is that what happened?
Yes, it didn't have a case on it.
And you're 17 years old, which I find the fact that you have a job and that you work and that your mom says that you have to be responsible because that's what people do, I find that to be a good thing.
Thank you, ma'am.
Great. So that as a responsible young man, the first thing that you say is, oh, gee whiz, I'm so sorry. I was acting like a stupid kid, like a baby, and I'm so sorry I damaged your phone. I'll replace it. Is that what you said to her?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What did you say next?
I asked her how her phone was doing, and she said that she immediately picked up a new phone.
And what did you say? Come on.
I said...
Did you think you were going to come here and have fun and it was...
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Meredith LeBlanc says her co-worker, Nicholas Tipper, ruined her iPhone when he knocked it into a pitcher of fruit punch.
Go ahead.
The first thing I did was I sent my friend out to a local supermarket store to pick up rice to try to repair the phone.
Okay, but that didn't work.
No, it did not.
Okay, so you did a first responsible thing. You tried to see if it could be repaired.
Yes, I did.
Because you felt...
That...
but just a second. You felt...
Partially responsible.
Right. Well, she didn't use a pen.
No, she did
She didn't act like a fool, right?
No.
So that didn't work. So what did you say next?
I asked her how her phone was doing, and she said that she immediately picked up a new phone. And while I do feel partially responsible...
Just a second. She said, I picked up a new phone.
Yes, ma'am.
And what did you say?
I said, that's good.
Come on.
I said...
I mean, did you think you were going to come here and have fun and it was going to be easy, Nicholas?
No,
it's
ma'am.
not going to be easy. All right. So you said, that's good. And?
Did you get the new upgrade, or did you get your old phone back? And she said that she got the new iPhone 7 upgrade.
Okay. And you said?
And I wanted me to pay $300. I did not feel that I was fully responsible.
Just a second. Well, then you would have said to her, well, how much was your old phone?
Yes.
Because that you would have been responsible for, right?
Yes.
And did she tell you how much her old phone was?
An iPhone 6, which was her old phone, is $300 to replace.
Is $300 to replace it. And she's suing you for $300.
Yes, ma'am.
So?
I found out through other employees at my job.
No, you can't tell me what you found out through other employees. That's hearsay and not admissible. So?
That she only paid the deductible and that...
You mean she had insurance?
That is what I've been told.
No, well, you can't tell me that. You can tell me what you think, but you can't tell me whether or not she has it because somebody else told you that. That's hearsay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
Now, you watch television. You look like an intelligent young man. You know what hearsay is. It's an out-of-court statement. When offered for the truth of that statement is inadmissible because people can't cross-examine an out-of-court statement. That's what hearsay is.
We have phone numbers of who I found out from.
Who cares? She can't cross-examine them. Now, did you have insurance? I don't buy insurance on my phone. When did you buy this iPhone 6?
Bought the phone 6. Yes, I do.
I'd like to see it. Okay, so they offered to swap out of warranty for Exact Life device for $299.
Yes, that would be a new iPhone 6.
Great. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $300. We're done. Thank you.
You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I'm just happy to put this all behind us.
She was partially responsible for the phone being destroyed.
They thought it was my fault for putting my phone on the box.
Even though bad things can happen, people can still be civil with each other and have a working relationship.
Don't mess around at work.
Just glad that a decision was made one way or another. We're good.
He was just irate, kicking the car. I'd never seen him get so angry.
Her ex-con ex tries to sound reasonable.
Why would you agree to help her with her car if you hadn't damaged it?
Because I'm a good person.
And says the trouble's with her.
He had gotten an attitude, was picking a fight with me in the vehicle.
Did you drink at the casino?
Yes, ma'am.
After she had seen the phone call from Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Nicole Johnson is suing her ex-boyfriend, Dylan Wood, for vandalizing her car in a fit of rage.
Order. All rise. This is case number 233 on the calendar in the matter of Johnson versus Wood.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat, please.
Miss Johnson, Mr. Wood used to be your boyfriend. And some time ago, as a matter of fact, well over a year ago, it is your claim that he vandalized your car. The reason that this case took so long to be filed, according to you, was that Mr. Wood spent a year in jail. As soon as he was released, you filed the case.
Yes, ma'am.
When did the incident happen? That was in April of 2015?
Yes, ma'am.
April what?
4th.
You'll tell me about it in a minute. Mr. Wood, were you incarcerated for a year?
Yes, ma'am.
From when to when?
From November of 2015 to June of 2016.
Were you in jail at all between April and November?
No.
No. So you really had sufficient time in which to file a lawsuit against him before you went to jail.
Yes.
You want to tell me why you didn't?
After the incident, I thought he would, he said he would.
I want to ask you this question, Ms. Johnson. Between April the 4th, 2015, and November of 2015, did you see Mr. Wood?
Not after that, no, ma'am.
Not after April 4th?
No, ma'am.
Is that correct, Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Okay. When you say you thought he would be a person of his word, did he say he would pay for the damage?
Yes.
On what date?
After the incident. The date would be the following day or a couple days afterwards. In a text message.
You have the text message?
I do not.
Did you text him?
No.
He texted you?
Yes.
Is that right?
Well, I simply said I would help her with her car.
You would help her?
I said I would help her because...
Well, I mean, she didn't need her car moved from one place to another, right?
Right.
She needed her car fixed.
Right.
And you said, I'll help you with it.
Yes.
Okay, now let me see why you agreed to help her with it. Ms. Johnson, you want to tell me what happened on April 4th of 2015?
Yes. We had been to dinner. Everything seemed okay. He had gotten an attitude, was picking a fight with me in the vehicle.
You mean after dinner?
Yes, after dinner. So on the way
Who was
home...
driving?
I was. I just kept trying to ask him to stop arguing with me, stop being disrespectful, stop whatever it is you're doing. And it just started getting out of hand. I was fearing. I didn't know how he was going to react to the way he was being. And my witness here, Rick, I pulled in his driveway where it was going to escalate.
What were you arguing about?
I honestly don't even know why the attitude or the anger or the
Do you remember, Mr. Wood?
Yes, I do, but we weren't going to dinner. She come and picked me up. She wanted to meet and go to the casino. So I met her in town and dropped my motorcycle off, and I got in the car with her, and we were heading to the casino, and I got a phone call from...
Just a second. Does that sound familiar?
Yes.
Okay. So you weren't out for dinner. You were going to the casino. You met in town.
Right.
You had a motorcycle?
Yes.
So you left your bike and you drove?
Yes, ma'am.
And you were on the way to the casino?
This was on after the casino.
Okay, so you had gone to the casino?
Right.
Did you drink at the casino?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you drink at the casino?
No.
Okay.
That's not true.
That's not true.
Shh. Did you have anything to drink at the casino?
No, I was on probation.
Oh, okay. Were you ultimately violated on your probation?
Yes, I was.
Is that why you spent this time in jail?
Yes.
And the violation of the probation was?
It was just a failed drug test for my probation.
All right. So you pulled in, you were on your way home, there was an argument. Two of you probably had a little bit too much to drink, maybe both of you. Certainly you shouldn't have been behind Rick.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you didn't like what was going on. And pick it up from there.
I pulled in the driveway. I demanded him to get out of my vehicle. I locked the doors.
So he got out?
Yes.
Now, I want you to try to remember very carefully, because the first part of your story you forgot about. You weren't out for dinner. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
You understand. So let's be very clear. And if you don't remember something, there's nothing wrong with saying, I don't remember.
Okay.
Okay, you told him to get out of the car.
Which it was a task to get him out of the car. I kept asking for him to get out of my car, and he didn't want to get out of my car. He eventually got out of the car. Yes, and he started kicking my vehicle. I ran up the stairs. I mean, he was just irate, kicking the car, just, you know, being crazy. I'd never seen him get so angry, and I didn't know what was going to happen. I ran up the stairs, didn't even open the door, and I was like, help me. I don't know what to do. He's kicking the car. He's been crazy. And that's when Rick assisted me and went outside and tried to help me from there.
And those are the damages you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now you tell me your side of the story.
Starting from Rick's driveway?
Yes, you pulled into Rick's driveway.
Okay, we pulled into Rick's driveway, and after she had seen the phone call from this other girl, I guess she was mad about it.
You missed a whole piece of the chapter with me. After she saw...
After she had picked me up from where I dropped my motorcycle off, she had seen that I got a phone call from some other girl.
You mean on your way to the casino?
On my way to the casino, yes.
So all this happened before you got to the casino?
Yes.
Well, then where was the drinking? If all this happened before the casino...
I wasn't drinking.
Yeah, but she said she was drinking. Where was she drinking? In the car? She said she was drinking in the casino. You were on your way home. You say you were on your way going to the casino, and she saw a message on the phone.
Yes. And she stopped at Rick's house and wanted me to get out of the car. So I got out of the car.
Before the casino?
Yes.
All right, we had a dinner. We were out for dinner. We had a romantic dinner, and then we had an argument on the way home. Then we were on the way to the casino where I was drinking. Then we were on the way back from the casino. That's why
we never had a dinner.
That's why you're supposed to bring a lawsuit promptly. That's why the law says you're supposed to bring a lawsuit as soon as you possibly can so that everybody's mind is fresh. He wants to tell me the truth. You want to tell me the truth as best as you can remember it, but you don't remember it, right?
I remember.
Well, you didn't. I mean, and you were on your way home from dinner when you had an argument and you pulled into Rick's house.
I understand. I just got confused about where we were prior.
That's not confused. That was very clear.
It was the casino, not dinner. I apologize.
Well, he says you hadn't gone to the casino yet.
We had gone to the casino.
And dinner.
And...
What time did this happen? You have a police report?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
I'd like to take a look at the police report. Thanks, Bert. Well, the incident occurred on April 4th, but you reported it to the police on April 10th.
I called the police that evening of the incident. Actually, my witness, may have been when I requested the report.
No, it just says incident occurred from 4/4/2015 at 20:30 hours through 2100 hours. Report date 4/10/2015. Did the police arrive at the scene that night?
Yes, ma'am.
They did. And you don't have any other report from them other than this?
That's all they gave me, besides my witness who was there.
Okay. Well, Mr. Wood, maybe it's possible that you don't remember, but she named you as a suspect in this vandalism of her car on the day she reported it. And you did, in fact.
Yes.
Now, why would you agree to help her with her car if you hadn't damaged it?
Because I'm a good person, I feel like.
No, that's...
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What did you say to them at the time of the walkthrough about the fire pit?
That wasn't there when you moved in.
And?
And I did not put it in there.
I do not recall that at all.
I don't believe her. Actually, I don't believe her.
Okay.
And later today.
I unleashed the dog, turned around to put the dog into the house, and he was behind me. The dog started barking.
That's not the dog that bit him.
The dog in the house started barking. He started screaming, ah, ah!
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Nicole Johnson says ex-boyfriend Dylan Wood kicked her car in a fit of rage.
Okay, can I see pictures of the car, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had the car fixed?
No, ma'am.
Where is the car now?
In Norman, Oklahoma, where I live.
Do you still own it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, do you drive it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, because it's drivable. It
Yes.
just doesn't look pretty.
Right.
Okay, do you have an estimate to fix it?
I have two, Your Honor.
Would you take a look, Bird, and tell me the value of 2008 Toyota Corolla, please?
$72.25.
Anything else anybody want to tell me? No, good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $43.17, which is the lowest of your two estimates. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy feels like she deserves it, then I guess she deserves it.
I'm just happy it's finally going to get taken care of.
Me and Rick got in a fight, and he shoved me against the car.
Did you see the damage to that car? I would have had to ram his head into the car 50 times to do that.
Do the right thing.
And also tell the truth.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Shola Depew versus Travisano. Step forward.
Stephen Scholler and Christopher Depew are suing their former landlord, Lisa Travisano, for the return of their security deposit. Lisa is countersuing for violating the lease.
What's your last name, sir?
Depew?
Who's going to speak for the two of you?
I will.
You're Mr. Scholler.
Yes.
Mr. Scholler, you and your co-plaintiff rented a house from the defendant.
Yes.
And you had a one-year lease?
About 13 months, roughly 13 months.
And you also had a security deposit?
Yes.
$1,789 is what you're requesting?
Yes.
Okay. When did you move out?
We moved out June 30th of this year.
And did Miss Travisano do a walkthrough with you?
Oh, yes, it's a verbal walkthrough.
What is a verbal walkthrough?
No checklist or anything like that.
Did she walk through the house with you?
Yes.
On what date?
The 30th.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you take any photographs on the 30th?
No, I took photographs on the 1st.
Why?
Because there was no electricity in the house, and when we did the walkthrough, my iPad was dead. So the minute that they left, I was waiting to go back and take the photos.
Well, that's a problem, Ms. Travisano, because that's what a walkthrough is for. A walkthrough is on the date that they are departing or immediately preceding that. You go through, the landlord goes through, usually with a checklist, and says, this is wrong, so that they have an opportunity to say, well, this is the way it was when I rented the house.
They were still had boxes and belongings still there at the walkthrough.
But that's okay. You're not complaining about boxes and things?
No, but the cleaning was not done yet.
Your Honor, I have photos from the 30th. Absolutely.
How much did you return?
$1,135.
How much did you keep of their security deposit? deposit?
$1,789.85.
Did you serve them with a letter indicating why you were keeping $1,789?
Yes.
I'd like to see it. When were these photos taken?
On the 30th of June, the day we moved out.
Okay, actually, the only thing that I want to see is the fire pit. When you did the walkthrough, what did you say to them at the time of the walkthrough about the fire pit?
That wasn't there when you moved in.
And they said?
It's not an active fire pit.
And you said?
Well, there's wood, burnt wood and cardboard in the fire pit.
And?
And I did not put it in there. Okay. You had no permission to do that.
Did she say that to you?
I do not recall that at all. And if she had showed her displeasure that the fire pit was there, we would have taken those bricks away.
Just a second.
Yes.
I don't believe her.
Don't believe.
Actually, I don't believe her.
Okay.
That she said that to you.
I mean, I don't either.
This is nonsense. This is the fire pit you're talking about.
Yes.
Like I said, I would have easily taken those bricks, filled the dirt back in that hole. Would have taken 5 minutes.
Very good. We're done.
If that.
We're done.
Here today.
He asked me to bring the dog into the house. The dog could have stayed right where it was.
Just a second. Not the dog that bit him.
Yeah.
Okay. So
if I didn't open up the door, the dog would have never got out. And if he would have... Yeah, he would.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Stephen Scholler and Christopher Depew are suing their former landlord, Lisa Travisano, for the return of their security deposit. Lisa is countersuing for violating the lease.
Okay. Any place that you rent, you're going to have to do a cleanup on. These are the photographs that they say that they took the day before they moved out. I want you to look at them.
Can I show you the pictures that I have?
I want you to look at those pictures. Now, Bert, I'm going to look at her pictures.
Also, Your Honor, on the lease it says that only the 3 tenants were allowed living there and there were other people living.
For the amount of $1,789. Your counterclaim's dismissed. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It was very nice when they rented it, and it was a mess when they left.
It was not updated. All the appliances were old.
Better people.
She was just upset that she was caught in a lie and caught trying to take our money.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Navarro versus Becue. Step forward.
Raymond Navarro is suing Alicia Becue for actual and punitive damages as a result of a dog attack.
Mr. Navarro, the defendant was selling something that you were interested in buying. You went to her house to look at the item, which was some sort of a speaker, and it is your claim that when you were there, one of her dogs bit you.
Yes, Honor.
And Miss Becue, I don't know what she says. I think what she's saying is it was your fault, and she does call it a bite. She calls it a nip. On what date did this happen, sir?
December 29, 2015.
You went to her house?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you go to the front door or to the garage?
At the garage.
Garage open or closed?
Yes, it's open, wide open.
And according to your complaint, there were 2 large dogs in the garage. Is that right?
Yes.
But neither of those dogs were the dogs that bit you?
Yes, Your
correct?
Honor. Yes, correct.
There was a 3rd dog?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, where did the 3rd dog come from?
Comes from inside the house.
Who opened the door?
She opened the door.
What did you open the door?
To the house.
When you opened the door, the other dog came out.
Well, I asked him to stay outside the car.
I didn't ask you that question. What I asked you was when you opened the door, the other dog came out.
Yes.
The Australian Terrier was the dog that bit or nipped him, depending upon whether you are the victim or the owner of the dog. If you're the victim, it's a bite. If you're the owner, it's a nip. Do you have photographs of the nip?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have a doctor's report?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'd like to take a look at both. When did you contact the defendant about your medical bills?
It was my lawyer who contacted her.
And was there any resolution?
The lawyer requested for a meeting, so there would be a resolution, but she never came in.
Anything you want to tell me?
Yes, Your Honor. He asked me to bring the dog into the house. The dog could have stayed right where it was.
No,
it was
the dog.
leashed
Just a second. The dog, not the dog that bit him.
Yeah.
Okay, so
if I didn't open up the door, the dog would have never got out. And if he would have...
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
According to you, to put the other dog inside because the dog was barking. And you accommodated him by opening the door.
But I also asked him to stay out on the driveway, not to come into my garage. When I turned around, I unleashed the dog, turned around to put the dog into the house, and he was behind me. The dog started barking.
That's not the dog that bit him.
The dog in the house started barking. He started screaming, ah, ah! I turned around, I told him to stop. Stay right there, stop. Because you alert a dog, you show a dog you're scared, they get on a defense. So when he started screaming...
I have dogs. They don't get on the defense if you show them you're scared.
Well, he started screaming.
Maybe your dogs
The dog
do.
ran out, and and the dog nipped him.
Fine. Judging for the plaintiff in the amount of $500. We're finished. Thank you.
Pardon your excuse, you may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy...
He took advantage of a situation.
Well, it's a fair decision, you know.
And if he didn't start running around screaming, the dog would have never bit him.
I had to walk out of the garage to avoid the dog, but the dog was too fast for me, and...
It's an Australian Shepherd. They're a herding dog.
She got me on my leg.
Go meet him at the fire department.
Not go to any more houses with dogs. That's it.
This is you.
Yes.
You were clearly furious.
A dust-up at the dollar store.
It was about a cigar that they were selling for $1.50. It says 2 for 99 cents on it.
Or is the owner trying to make a quick buck?
He grabbed the cigar and throw 33 cents and walk out. If that's not stealing, how do you call that?
An outright lie, Your Honor.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Dion Rose is suing store owners David and Maria Mendoza for defamation of character after they falsely accused him of shoplifting.
Order. All rise.
It's case number 221 on the calendar in the matter of Rose versus Mendoza. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
Mr. Rose, Mr. Mendoza runs a store, a dollar sort of store.
Yes, ma'am.
Right, of inexpensive little things. And based upon what I read in your complaint, you frequented that store. You went in.
Yes.
And you walked in one day and you saw that your picture was up in the store, and the picture suggested that you were a shoplifter.
Yeah.
Now, do you have a photograph for me or something to show me of the poster that you saw and when you saw it?
Yes, Your Honor. I have a video, actually. It has no audio on it, just video. And if I could, I want to explain, it wasn't just one day I walked in. Actually, it was a day or two after Christmas of last year, December 2015. I came in the store and I had words with the gentleman in the white shirt. I think his name is Caesar. It was about a cigar that they were selling for $1.50 and it, you know, it says 2 for 99 cents on it. And we got into some type of verbal altercation. And then I came back 2 or 3 days later for some incense or candles, and I saw it directly as soon as I walked in the store, shoplifter.
Okay. So what you feel precipitated putting up this photograph was the argument that you had had with Mr. Mendoza's employee. That is your employee, sir?
Yes.
Okay, because you raised an issue that they were overcharging for cigars that on the package said 2 for $1. They were selling them for $1.50 a piece.
Exactly.
Okay. Stand up, sir. Your last name is?
Mendoza.
Are you related?
Yes. He's my brother.
You remember having that discussion with Mr. Rose?
Yeah, that's happened like March 15.
It happened in March?
I'm certain it happened sometime.
And you're certain it happened March 15?
March 15 at 4:15 p.m.
And I assume that that tape is going to show that to me.
Let me explain to you. The
No, because you're pretty adamant about the date and the time.
For the date of the...
Okay. So you're going to show me something that you took in December of 2015.
I think it was January. It was a couple days after the initial verbal altercation. And this is the beginning of it. I was just walking up into the store so I could show you where they were displaying it. As soon as you walk in the store, it's right here.
Right where?
I'm zooming in on it right there. And I happen to be that that person right there screaming, because that's when they took the picture of me when I was screaming at them right there with the baseball hat on.
Just a second.
You can see her clear on my phone, Your Honor.
I'd like to take a look at it on your phone, sir, because I can't see it clearly there.
I'm sorry, hold on 1 second. Okay, either one of those two you can play. Yeah, there was never any incident of me stealing anything from the store.
Just a second.
And, Your Honor, they're not arguing that. I'm sorry.
Do you say that you can see your face in this?
Yes, Your Honor. That's me. It's a picture, and they're not arguing that it's not me.
Okay, I'm just telling you that based upon, I can't see that in here.
Oh, okay.
I can't see that. I see a woman, I see the back of two people. It's not clear enough for me to see it. But you don't deny that you put up his picture.
I don't deny it, no.
Okay, fine. Now, what you're going to do is show me, because certainly if you put up his picture and he was never prosecuted for theft.
We called the police. We called the police that day of the incident. Let me explain what happened that day. He walked into a store and asked for a cigar that it cost $1, not $1.50. That's his first lie. It's pre-priced $1.99. We sell it for $1 at the door. So normally when you walked into a store...
No, don't tell me normally. Just tell me what happened.
Okay, he asked for a cigar, $1 cigar. My brother put him on the counter. He grabbed the cigar and throw 33 cents and walk out. If that's not stealing, how do you call that? There's no other way to say.
Just a second. Did that happen,
That's
Mr.
an
Rose?
outright lie, Your Honor.
Just a second.
No, it didn't.
And do you have that on tape?
We don't have that on tape, no. That was back for our record. It's just way too much memory on my computer. We have only the picture that we put up there.
From March 15th?
From March 15th.
Let me just take a look at it, please.
And also, Your Honor, we have...
Just a second. Is this a picture of you, Mr. Rose, arguing with somebody?
Yes,
Is
Your
that
Honor.
the picture that you
Yes,
tried to
Your
show
Honor.
me
Yes.
in here? Okay. And were you at the counter?
Yeah, I was there.
You were there. Do you want to tell me exactly what happened when Mr. Rose came in?
Yeah, he came, and I want to explain to you first. I don't speak good English, but he came and asked for cigars. I gave it to him, put it on the counter. When he threw me 33 cents, he walked away. I told him, hey, man, this is $1. What? It's not $1. He started to argue
with you.
And say, hey, if you don't want it, just leave over there. You don't have to argue with me. And, no, okay, you overcharge me. Sir, the price is on there.
It's printed.
It's printed on the cigars. And he has tried to argue with me. He's tried to fight with me, you know. He said, hey,
No, he
come
was
outside.
argumentative. You could see it from this
He
picture.
can explain to you better what's going on that day because he saw the video.
He spat on his face. He
He spat on my face. He spat on my face.
That's total lie.
It makes some threats.
It
That's
makes
the
some
reason why
threats.
we call the police, and we have the police report.
May I see? So after this incident, you called the police?
Yeah, we called the police.
Okay, I'd like to see the police report. Do you have a copy of the police report, Mr.
Well,
Rose?
No, I've never heard of it, Your Honor.
Okay. March 15th.
Exactly, 4:15 p.m.
You have any proof, sir, that this happened in December?
Well, the incident that I'm referring to happened in December, Your Honor.
But there was another incident in March.
I don't even know what he's referring to. I've never spat on
Okay,
him.
well, this is you.
Yes.
You clearly had an argument with him.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And do you have any proof that the incident that you described occurred in December? Is there any proof that you have that it occurred in December? Does your phone indicate that it occurred in December?
On the recording, when I recorded it?
Yes, it should, if it's in December.
May I?
If it's in December, that would be very relevant to me.
Thank you. I don't know how I would see the date on there.
Wow. You have no proof.
Shh.
Your Honor, it doesn't show a date on here at all. My witness can attest that when this incident happened that I'm telling you about, like days after I had the altercations when I walked in the store and saw this picture up, this has just been happening since December.
Arguing, listen to me, you were arguing with this gentleman in this picture. Clearly, you are furious, Mr. Rose, in this picture, okay? Why you get furious over a cigar, I have no idea. If they choose to charge $1 for a cigar that's worth 50 cents, you don't have to go in there and buy from him. But you were clearly furious.
Well, I'm sorry. Well, I was furious because he was cussing at me and trying to provoke me to fight with him.
Oh, please, Mr. Rose. That's ridiculous. Mr. Rose, that's ridiculous. According to you, and I read your case very, very carefully, you had been going to this store all the time.
Yes, I look.
All the time. Nobody ever provoked you before, because otherwise, and you're not an unintelligent man, Mr. Rose, because if you were an unintelligent man, I would say, well, if somebody provokes you, who's not nice to you, you don't go to the store. But clearly, you never had a problem in the store before, so if you went and you had an argument over the price of a cigar, that doesn't actually require this. It requires, you know what? I'm not buying this cigar.
Well,
and you walk away. You say, I'll buy my cigar someplace else. What do you want?
Yeah, well, excuse me.
You weren't here.
No, I wasn't there.
Well, you weren't there because you're nowhere in the picture.
Right.
Sit down.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, Your Honor,
No, I don't think it's a... Mr. Rose, I don't think it's a joke. But clearly an incident happened over a cigar that you wanted to purchase that you got very excited over. This man says that what you did was take the cigar and leave with it and threw down what you wanted to pay for it, which was 33 cents. They called the police and made a report immediately. Now, the only other question that I'm going to ask, which may be dispositive, when, for the first time, did you decide to sue them? In what month and year?
September.
This September?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, your case is dismissed. We're done. I don't believe you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I have the right to refuse service to anyone. So I'm not going to allow him to store no more.
How detrimental would it be to you if someone had your picture up for 9 months?
Based on what they told me, I'm not doing anything illegal.
As a shoplifter, and you haven't shoplifted anything.
And I'm going to continue doing the same thing I'm doing.
Who would believe someone pays 33 cents for something that costs $1 and walks out?
I'm just protecting my business.
It's common sense.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Wood versus Lane, step forward.
William Wood is suing his former landlord-to-be, 20-year-old Alexa Lane, for return of a security deposit.
Mr. Wood, you rented a room from the defendant. You gave her a security deposit. It is your claim that she told you that you couldn't move in. You want your security deposit back, plus a whole bunch of other damages, which is actually sort of ridiculous. Miss Lane is counterclaiming. She said you signed a lease and you backed out at the last minute. She wants you to pay the remainder of the month's rent. So it's very simple. You found this room on Craigslist?
Correct.
And you went to see it on what date?
On the day of the 26th, or the 27th is our first time we meet in person.
27th of what?
January 27th of 2016.
And when did you sign a lease?
The lease was partially signed, not fully signed, on February 22nd after I gave the deposits.
Okay. May I see what you're talking about, a partially signed lease?
I have the lease.
I'd like to take a look at it.
Okay. This one was actually signed by another tenant, not by William, but this is the same exact lease that he did sign.
Oh, no. I want the lease that he signed.
I don't have that. That wasn't my responsibility to bring.
Well, it is your responsibility to bring it, Miss Lane, because you have a counterclaim, and your counterclaim is that he violated the terms of the lease.
I do. I have the roommate agreement also, but I've also moved several times in the last year, so...
I don't care, actually.
Okay.
In a moment.
She says to you, I can't give you a key until the rent is paid.
Correct, and I state that I understand that, but I can't pay her the rent if she doesn't allow me to actually move my things in.
No, that's not true. You sign a lease, you pay a month's rent, and then you get a key.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. William Wood says Alexa Lane owes for storage fees and a security deposit. Alexa has a countersuit for lost wages and harassment.
Now, if you don't have the proof that he violated the terms of the lease because you don't have a written lease, then you don't have a counterclaim.
Okay.
Okay, so you can't show me a lease that somebody else signed, but it was the same as he signed. Okay. So now I'd like to see what you have as a partial lease, sir.
I would not receive a copy from her. She refused to give me a copy upon request.
Okay, so then I don't have to worry about it. I do not have a written lease.
Yes.
Easy.
Correct.
Okay. And you gave her how much?
I gave her $200 security deposit,
Fine.
which she gave me electronic.
On February 22nd?
Yes, February 22nd.
When were you supposed to move in?
I told her I was moving in a week before my lease ended.
What date were you supposed to move in?
March 8th.
Now tell me what happened so that you didn't move in on March 8th.
On March 8th, I reached out to her with my first attempt to get a key to move in, and within the course of 4 days,
March 8th?
Correct.
And prorate rent for the month
Correct.
of
We had
March?
a verbal agreement that the rent would be prorated based on the day that I moved my things into the house.
Okay, so go ahead.
And upon that time, she refused to give me access to the house and did not provide me with the key in a timely manner, if not, didn't even provide me a key at all. At the point of requesting it after 4 days, she refused to give me the key.
Oh, so she refused to give you a key. What did she say when she...
Well, page 5 of our text message documents, I told her if this continues to be an issue, I will like my deposit back.
Okay, let me see your text messages to the
Here's a copy
defendant.
for you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, the actual date of him to move in was March 16th, and he harassed me with text messages and phone calls at my workplace and all through the night demanding a key before he ever paid rent.
What would you need for me to be able to rent the room?
Correct. I asked her what...
She says you would need to sign the lease and sign the roommate agreement. So I don't have a signed lease. I don't have a roommate agreement. And pay the first month's rent, which you didn't pay, and a $200 security deposit. So that's what you would need before you ask for a key. Do you understand?
Yes.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Where I feel that she was discriminating, age 5, I tell her information about myself, and upon revealing this information from her, she responds, upon new information, I am uncomfortable with you moving in.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
William Wood says Alexa Lane owes for storage fees and a security deposit. Alexa has a countersuit for lost wages and harassment.
Now, before you ask for a key, you had to have a signed lease, a signed roommate agreement, pay her a month's rent, which was how much?
It was prorated.
A month's rent was $275, Your Honor.
Pay $275 plus a $200 security deposit. So the only thing that you did was pay the $200 security deposit.
Correct.
And then you asked her for a key.
No,
Yes,
not. What I did is I gave her the $200 security deposit, and we had a verbal agreement that on the day that I move in, it'll be prorated.
Fine. I would like to see that here.
Okay.
Is that anywhere in these?
The verbal agreements? No.
Is that anywhere in here?
No, it's not, ma'am.
No. Okay. Well, that takes care of all the other nonsense, your discrimination against you, whatever.
There was no discrimination, Your
Just
Honor.
a second. She says to you, I can't give you a key until the rent is paid.
Yes, ma'am.
She says that to you.
Correct, and I state that I understand.
No, that's not true. You sign a lease, you pay a month's rent and a security deposit, and then you get a key.
That's understandable, Your Honor. We had a verbal agreement as to...
That's not here.
Our agreement, the agreement that we discussed was that...
No.
I'm sorry.
Not here. Not in the
understand.
messages that you gave me.
Where I feel that she was discriminatory was that the moment that we had the text message conversation on page 5, I tell her information about myself, including that I'm a Freemason. And upon revealing this information from her, she responds, upon new information, I am uncomfortable with you moving in.
Your Honor, he informed me he was a Freemason the day he saw the room, and I was totally comfortable with it.
She did not rent the room to anybody else because she assumed that you were going to do what you had to do to rent the room, which was to sign a lease, sign a roommate agreement, pay a month's rent, and pay a security deposit. Of those 4 things that you had to do, you only did 1. Then you demanded access to the room.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, you demanded access to the room. Over and over again, you demanded access to the room. That's what you said. I asked for a key 4 times, and she wouldn't give...
Time for us to meet, and that way she could give me the key, and that I could give her money, and she was not cooperating with me as to a time that we could meet up for me to fulfill our agreement.
That's not true, Your Honor.
And there's text messages where I'm asking her where I want to meet her.
Just a second. She said, I left you numerous voicemails on Thursday afternoon, which you never called back. That's on a Thursday.
Right.
Okay, letting you know I got your calls and was making your key.
She only responded to me once. From
Your Honor,
my
I was a full-time student, and I also worked 2 jobs, and he was harassing me.
The text messages state
Mr. Wood.
Yes.
let's be clear. This was not a good marriage, right?
Yes, ma'am.
You have a new roommate?
I no longer live there anymore.
Oh, fine. Then give him his $200 back. We're done. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $200.
Ma'am, can you hear my countersuit?
No, you have no lease, correct?
I have the lease, just not the signed lease.
No, if you don't have a signed lease, you don't have a lease.
Okay, and it's also for harassment at my workplace.
Forget it.
Okay.
Should have given him his $200 back. He wouldn't have harassed you in the work.
He knew the roommate agreement, and it says that if he didn't provide me a 30-day notice written, that he would lose the security deposit because my end was to just hold the room.
$200.
Okay.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Tragedy in her unsafe stables?
You really had the responsibility to call a vet, but it's her responsibility. Boarding stable. When did you have this epiphany? When you had a problem?
Judge Judy.
He was calling me and texting me all through the night, all through the morning. When I was at work, I was a full-time student. He would text me all through class.
That was a complete lie. I have text messages where I'll text her once.
Demanding a key before he even paid rent.
And I did not harass her. One text message every couple of weeks, and it's not harassment at all.
He wanted to put his things in the house before paying rent. I'm not okay with that. So that's how that happened.
She really wasn't a very pleasant person. She just became real nasty towards me.
Never to do it again. That's why I have moved out and it's no longer my property.
She has constantly, every single day, complained about something.
The plaintiff had enough. Your son made mistakes.
A family contracting business with a shaky foundation.
I said he's inexperienced and he needs help, were my exact words.
And building good relations isn't their thing.
I also got, I'm glad you're so perfect that you've never made a mistake in your life.
Exactly that.
I understand what she's up against, just from the way you're behaving.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Elaine Davis is suing contractors Jean-Michel Biro and his son Michael for faulty workmanship and reimbursement for additional contractors.
Now it's case number 271 on the calendar in the matter of Davis versus Biro.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat.
Ms. Davis, you hired the defendant, the senior Mr. Biro, to do sort of a reconstruction of a bathroom. You hired the defendant, you were dissatisfied with his service, you parted in not good ways, and you want a whole lot of money from him for a whole lot of things that you're really not entitled to. Mr. Biro has a counterclaim, smacks of extortion and other things. So I have to satisfy myself that you have been made whole, even if you were dissatisfied. Tell me when you hired Mr. Biro.
I hired Mr. Biro towards the end of March, I believe was the date.
Of this year?
Yes.
And it was the bathroom that you were supposed to do, Mr. Biro, is that correct?
Absolutely.
And when you went to see Ms. Davis, who did you go with?
Initially, I went by myself.
In March?
In March, yes.
Did you go back to see the premises again?
Yes.
Before the work started?
Oh, absolutely.
You did?
Absolutely, twice.
When?
Came in initially for an estimate, came in
That's
and
March
made an agreement.
16.
Yes.
That's March. When did you come back?
That was end of March, and then again at the beginning of April when the permits were issued.
When you came at the end of March, who did you come with? When the permits were issued, what was the purpose of that visit?
Permits must be dropped onto the property and left onto the property from the time they're issued.
Okay, so that was
day,
just
I went
a
from
drop
Norman.
off.
I went from the city hall to there and dropped them off directly.
Alone?
No, actually, Michael was with me when I dropped off the permits.
Did he go in and meet Ms. Davis?
Yes, he did.
Is that correct?
I don't remember that, but it could have happened.
Was that the first time that you had met the son?
It would have been, yes.
How much was the job supposed to cost?
$8,500.
And how much money did you actually pay Mr. Biro?
75% up front. I believe it's $6,300 and maybe $25.
He gave you back some money at some point?
Correct.
How much did he give you back?
$2,000.
So you actually, so far, are out of pocket $4,300?
Correct.
When did the work commence on the property?
The last week of April, I believe.
Is that correct?
It was May 3rd.
So approximately a month later.
Yes.
Why did it take so long for the work to commence?
Once we got the permitting, we put it on our schedule. We have lots of work. We've been in business since 1958 without any problems.
He hasn't been in business since 1958.
Our family has been.
He has not been in business since 1958.
Our family has been in business since 1958.
He has not in business.
I've taken over the business in 1971.
Business since 1958 is my
no,
statement.
he wasn't born in 1958.
Correct. Now, on May the 1st, Who showed up at Miss Davis's house?
Both of us, along with two employees.
Did you work?
Yes, I did.
And did the two other employees work?
Yes.
Is that correct?
That is not correct.
Who showed up on May 1st?
It was April 25th, and John came with a helper.
John came with a helper?
Yes.
Not the son?
No.
What was the date that you asked them to leave?
I believe it was the 26th of May.
The 23rd.
Someone, okay.
Between May the 1st, when the project started, and May 23rd, how many men were on site?
Michael was there with a helper on the days that he worked. There was one other gentleman that they had who came in behind them, like to do cleanup on the days that they were there, and then John himself.
How many days was the father there?
Well, that's John himself, and I would say maybe 3-4 days.
Now, you want to tell me why you stopped the work on May 23rd?
After a series of incidents and rude behavior at my home.
Explain what the rude behavior was.
All right. First incident was they came to work at my house, and
Who's
they were
the they?
Michael and his helper, and
Who's the helper?
Guy Joe that we had hired at the time. He doesn't work with us no more.
He doesn't work at the time that you started Miss Davis's job.
For maybe a month.
So you were dissatisfied with his service. That's why he was terminated.
Yes, ma'am. Well, he left himself. I didn't fire him.
Okay. Continue.
Okay. They were wandering around in my backyard, and I said, hey, what are you guys doing out there? The job is inside the house. And he said, well, I'm out here looking for a water spigot. I said, well, why didn't you ask me? And that's all was said. Then the next day when his father came, his father said, what the hell did you think we were going to do, steal something? Don't you know we have more money than she has? And I thought, wow. I didn't know if that was a dry sense of humor or it was just rudeness, but the job had just gotten started. I let it go. Second incident was they spent a day and a half putting a new ceiling up in the bathroom and then realized they forgot to put the insulation in. I brought it to his attention.
Just a second. Who was there when that happened?
Michael and his helper, Joe, as he's named him now.
All right, Michael, let's start with the ceiling. Did you put up a new ceiling?
Yes, we did.
Did you have to take it down to put in the insulation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And on what date did that happen?
Couldn't honestly tell you.
Was that at the beginning of the job?
Around the 14th.
Around the 14th.
Okay.
If I want you to answer me, I'll ask you to answer me.
Okay.
Now, can you tell me why you didn't put in the insulation?
It just slipped our mind. And
okay, so it was a mistake.
It was a 10-minute mistake.
Just a second. It was a mistake.
Yes, ma'am.
Rehab job was renovating a closet in the same room to accommodate a washer and dryer. And they put in a new wall to accommodate it and framed it out new and put new piping. The pipes don't fit in the wall. They protrude out of the wall. And they can't be fixed because they were concreted in the floor.
Who concreted them in the floor?
Michael.
Michael, she has photographs of this, I'm sure, to show me. Do you know what she's talking about?
Every pipe that we've had in there was inside the wall. I did not see any pipes sticking out of the wall. We didn't have any problem with pipes sticking out of the wall.
Did she ever bring that to your attention?
No, ma'am.
I'd like to see a photograph of it. Do you remember framing out the closet, Michael?
Yes, ma'am.
You had to reset piping for the washer and dryer?
Yes, ma'am. We had a plumber come in and do our plumbing work.
And did they have to be cemented in? Who did the cement work?
I did, ma'am.
Plumbers just did the piping?
Yes, ma'am. Now, we did not have to frame that whole wall. That wall was an existing wall. We just had to put a couple more studs inside that wall.
Well, this is what she's talking about. Would you show that to me?
I haven't seen it.
It's probably the clean out.
Oh, the drain.
Drain?
Yeah. I was there for the drain. I was there when, because of the way the plumbing was set up, that drain would actually have to come out into the room to be able to make the connection. And it would not interfere with the washer and dryer being able to go in, so we would put a cabinet into that area when we were finished to cover that pipe up so it would not be exposed.
So the pipe was exposed?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, first it wasn't exposed. Now the pipe was exposed.
No, this pipe was exposed. I'm the one that framed that wall and turned the board sideways for the dryer to fit in.
What you're saying is that you later told her why it was protruding.
Before we even put the wall together, yes.
You had that conversation?
No.
What's next?
Last thing was, into the last week of the job, they spent 3 days putting tile up. The room's only 6 by 9, and we weren't even halfway done with the tile. They came back Monday morning. It was a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They came back Monday morning, and I hear them in there taking the tile back off the wall. I said, what are we doing? And Michael said, I forgot to put the rubber liner in, which should have went in before the walls.
Okay.
for the ceiling.
So, Michael, now we're talking about in the bathroom.
Yes, ma'am.
Needs a rubber lining.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you forget to put that in before you put the tile up?
I was actually leaving the tiles 8 inches up. The liner goes 6 inches. And yes, I set a couple tiles low, and I had...
Whether you popped 4 tiles off of 40, did you forget to put up the liner before you put up the 4 tiles? Is
Yes,
my
ma'am.
question. So the answer is yes.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She refused to let me take the tools and go to a different job.
And she forced us to go get $2,000 cash and locked our tools in the bedroom and extorted that money from us to get her tools.
Good for her.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Elaine Davis says contractors Jean-Michel Bureau and his son Michael owe for faulty workmanship and the cost to hire additional contractors. The defendants are countersuing for extortion.
Okay. Mr. Brio, the plaintiff had enough. Your son made 2 mistakes in this renovation. I don't know whether I would have halted the job, but she felt as if she was sufficiently concerned. I can actually understand that because the first thing was the ceiling, and if the ceiling had gone up and she hadn't been there to notice that there was no insulation, you wouldn't know that. Once the ceiling is up, I assume the ceiling is up. You don't know whether there's insulation behind it, above it, or not. And this, you can uncross your arms. He gave you back $2,000.
Yes, and Judge, can I explain to you, I didn't halt the job at that point. What I did was halt the workers. I said, stop what you're doing, go outside. I need to talk to your boss. Because I'd already had several conversations with John. Can't you come and work on this job? I hired you to work on this job. Nope, this is what I got. Michael's the best I've got. I said, well, we have problems, okay? He's inexperienced and he needs help, were my exact words. I wasn't trying to be rude or ignorant to him. He said, nope, I can't, no, I can't. So I stopped the job. They called him. He called me on the phone. He came to my home. We sat down at my kitchen table and I said, can you not come and finish this job yourself? He said, no, I can't. I said, can you get me 2 other qualified people to come and finish this job? He said, not for 3 or 4 more weeks. I said, then we're done. I have to stop the job now because I don't have that much more time.
Just a second. I don't blame you because I get from his attitude right here that this was the reaction he had with you.
Yes, and I also got, I'm glad you're so perfect that you've never made a mistake in your life.
Okay. I got it.
Exactly that. She never made a mistake in his life. He put up the drywall on the ceiling and saw the insulation there. She never came and told him that. He saw the insulation there. He unscrewed the drywall and put the the insulation into the ceiling without her.
Do you understand,
but she walked
do you
in and
understand what
noticed
she's
it.
up against? I understand just from the way you're behaving.
No.
Just
Don't
the
go
way
there.
you're behaving here, I understand what
But
she
you
was
haven't
up
asked me,
against.
and I'm the general contractor. I'm the one responsible for the
listen
job.
to me.
And I was on the job working a lot more than what she said. I was on the job 16 days.
First of all, I'd like to see what the room looks like now. Your problem, Mr. Brio, is that she hired you. She didn't hire your 33-year-old son who made a series of mistakes that would concern me, too. She didn't throw you off the job. She called you and she said to you, I'm really dissatisfied with what's going on in the house, and I would really like it if you could come and finish this job. And you said exactly what you said. You've never made a mistake?
That is an absolute lie.
You just said it to me today.
No, I never said that I had to tell her, have you ever made a mistake?
You mean you asked
That is
me if
not
I ever
true.
made a mistake? The words came out of your mouth. Am I crazy?
Yeah, maybe. But it did not come out that way. I came back to the job. She had 3 people sitting at the table and says, I want you off my job.
Okay.
And she refused to let me take the tools and go to a different job that I had going on that I needed to work on,
And
too.
she forced us to
refused
go
let me
get
have my
our
tools.
go get $2,000 cash and locked our tools in the bedroom so we couldn't get our tools out of the house and extorted that money from us to get her tools.
Good for her.
Well, good for
No,
don't
because
do
I
anything.
could see present as a hothead. She really doesn't.
Excuse me?
She doesn't present. Well, then your problem
On
is
every
you're
single day,
deceiving.
she was yelling about something. I have a whole email, a text mail list here that you're welcome to read as evidence in this, that she has constantly, every single day, complained about something.
Mr. Brio,
Even
she's
before we
entitled-
were supposed
Don't
to
you
be there.
understand? What you're doing here, the way you are having a conversation with me, suggests to me that you don't even recognize that you have a problem.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Why would you buy grab bars for her on the 24th?
Originally, those grab bars were for her job.
You bought them
I
on the
did not-
24th after you had a major kerfuffle on her property, and you went and bought grab bars at Home
ma'am.
Depot for her? Oh, please.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Elaine Davis has accused contractor Jean-Michel Bureau and his son Michael of faulty workmanship and owing for the cost to hire additional contractors.
Now you agreed to pay him $8,500 to complete the job.
Correct.
How much did you pay other people for the job that you contracted for him to do for $8,500?
$15,000.
So you were getting a big bargain from him.
No, it wasn't a big bargain. Most of their work that was done had to be undone and then started over again.
I want you to show me where they had to undo the pipes that he put in.
Well, the pipes couldn't be undone.
Okay. Don't say. Show me the pipes that had to come out. They did not.
No.
Correct. Okay. The ceiling, did it come out?
No.
So far you have the pipes and the fittings for the closet, and the ceiling is in.
Yes.
Okay. So that he's entitled to get paid for.
Okay.
Right?
They did that work.
And for that work, how much money did they get paid? $4,300.
Yes.
What other work of theirs remained?
Oh, a lot.
Remained.
Remained.
Well, then you hired somebody very expensive to do the bathroom for $8,500. You tell me what had to be taken down.
Well, in lieu of them not putting the liner in behind the walls that were already done and the ceiling was done, they had to use a hydro barrier and a different type of material to create a rubber barrier, which was very expensive. The tile guy alone was $4,500.
$5.
If you don't install the liner prior to the rest of the work, then you have to take a different route, and there is a
Liner
letter.
mounts to the outside of the wall. It doesn't. The liner does not go behind the wall. It goes on the outside of the wall, and the tile goes over the top of the liner. So you put the liner on.
Correct.
This is a bill from his plumber to finish the plumbing work.
I'd like to see it. Oh, well, that's a small bill. That's $260.
Yeah, that's a small bill. Here's the bigger.
Right.
This is the tile guy with a letter that he just wrote me.
I don't want to see his letter. I want to see his paid bill.
Okay.
And what he did.
Okay.
That was $4,500. What else?
The electrician to finish the electrical work for the new washer and dryer that had to get run outside the 220.
Just a second. Was that part of your job description?
Yes, it was, but it was at the electrical to be ran after the job, after we got past the point we were at.
That's not my question. For the
Yes, it was part of the
$8,500
$8,500.
that you did not do.
No, we supplied all the material to do the job. We left the material there on the job when we left. We supplied the material. We supplied the wire. We supplied the conduit. We supplied the boxes and a massive other materials that were left on the job. Excuse me. Sorry.
Do you have the bills for those things that you left?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take a look at them.
Okay.
That probably is the best way to go, because right now I want to see that.
Can I say one thing?
No, Jill.
They're on the way.
The things that you left there. Mr. Brio, what was the last day that you were on property? Mr. Brio, what was the last day you were on property?
What was the last day?
No, May 23rd.
May 23rd.
May 23rd.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Then why would you show me a bill for something you bought for her on May 24th?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by.
Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, why would you show me a bill for something you bought for her on May 24th?
It was billed to me on May 24th.
No,
ma'am.
the Home Depot.
Oh, then I...
Then you what?
Sorry.
Then you what?
Then I slipped that one in.
Yes, you slipped
By
them
mistake.
in. You slipped one in, I don't know
By
what else
absolute
you
mistake,
slipped in.
ma'am. No, it was an absolute mistake. I also have...
Just a second.
The
Do you want to-
demolition of the
just a second.
property took 2
am
weeks.
Am I speaking?
Yes. No, I didn't know. I thought you stopped. I'm sorry.
Would you show him the receipt for May 24th?
Yeah, let me see what that receipt was for. Grab bars.
Before.
Originally, those grab bars were for her job.
You bought them on the
I did not-
24th after you had a major kerfuffle on her property where the police were called. And you went and bought grab bars at Home
ma'am.
Depot for her? Oh, please, give me a
Yes, ma'am.
break.
I ordered them.
Your
I
counterclaim
paid-
is
wait a
dismissed.
minute.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $4,300. We're done.
So the extortion, none of that matters.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
We've been extorted.
Just putting up with their attitudes, they showed it.
Police never got recalled.
It did end with the police, and it did end with a 911.
That lady put her hands on me and punched me in her house.
After I escorted him out of my home, he came rushing back in. We met, and as he came around, I went like that, and I popped him right in his chest. Yes, I did.
We have never had a major complaint of any kind.
The son is so inexperienced, it's a shame.
This is the first major complaint we've ever had.
The bathroom is finished, thank God.
Do you know how the horse was injured? It had a large hole in its chest.
Tragedy in her unsafe stables.
You really had the responsibility to call a vet, but it's her responsibility to pay.
She never called, text, nothing, zero.
She said to you, you're not getting the horse unless you give me so much money.
Then a horse owner starts trotting out excuses.
She doesn't have a... When you had a problem?
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Janice Tickle is suing Sarah Joint for vet bills, boarding and hauling fees, and ransom money paid for a horse.
Order. All rise.
Now, it's case number 290 on the calendar in the matter of Tickle versus Joint.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat.
Ms. Tickle, you boarded a horse at the defendant's facility and you claimed the horse was injured while at that facility.
Yes, Your Honor.
And in addition, that when you tried to get the horse from the facility, the defendant sort of held the horse ransom because she claimed that you owed her money.
Yes.
And I read her answer, and her answer is clear. She said that the horse was, in fact, injured at her facility, correct?
Yes.
And that she immediately called your vet, correct?
Yes.
And that your vet said that in order for your vet to come out to look at the horse, she would have to pay a past due bill of yours in addition to that visit that the vet would make. So what's the name of your vet?
It's one of my vets. It's Dr.
Indicated on the boarding agreement as her vet of record.
Fine. On what date was the horse injured?
September 7th.
Okay. Now, on September 7th, did you owe Dr. Perdue money? That's very easy. I can make a call.
Yes, Your Honor.
How much money did you owe Dr. Perdue?
$280.
How long did you owe Dr. Perdue the $280?
It was 6 months or so, 9 months.
Why didn't you pay the doctor their bill?
I had sold my house and had moved.
Well,
and
okay. You didn't pay the bill. Okay, so
Right.
she's absolutely correct. Called the doctor. The doctor said she owes me money. I'm not coming out to see this horse unless you pay what she owes me plus the visit.
Which was $900, not $250.
Not $280.
Not $280. It was $900. That's what they told me. And it was a year in arrears.
Now, on September 7th, did Miss Tickle owe you any money for boarding the horse?
Yes, she had not paid September's board, which was due on the 1st.
Did she pay August's bill?
She did, but I think it was late.
But she paid August's bill, so by September 7th, she really wasn't that much delayed.
Not too late, no. But
No.
she had disappeared, and the horse was supposed to be picked up on September 1st, and I hadn't heard from her and couldn't reach her.
Just a second. When you say the horse was supposed to be picked up, what does that mean?
She advised me sometime in July that the horse was going to be picked up on September 1st. But I never heard from her. She never showed up. Nothing happened. She never called, text, nothing, zero.
September 1st, had you made an arrangement, because I read your complaint, to transfer the horse to another facility that was closer? That's what you say, so be careful your answer.
Right. The date, though, is incorrect. It was an oral statement that I
don't care if it's oral or not. Did you tell her that you were going to be picking up the horse on September 1st because, according to you, you were looking for another facility that was much closer to me? Because you told her
But not on. I said I need to find the right facility. My horse has known allergies, which she gets hives, Your Honor, that are all over her body, and it's a health problem. The hives break open. She's not able to lay down. They get
So why didn't you pay your vet?
I paid my vet when I got the bill. There was
you
a problem
didn't.
with my getting mail to my new address. stress. So
when did you move?
I moved in August, put everything in storage. In September, I moved into...
Well, this bill was due in December,
right,
according
this
to
was
you.
in
So you would have
December.
gotten it January, February, March, April, May. You would have gotten the bill.
Right, Your Honor.
Okay.
Usually I was present when the vet would come out. This is the first time a vet has ever seen my horse. I've owned her 10 years without me being present.
Ms.
I
Tickle,
have
let's go. How much did you pay the defendant when you went to pick up the horse?
When I went to pick up the horse on...
Yes, in September.
When I actually picked her up in September,
How much,
okay.
Ms. Joint, how much was her monthly boarding fee?
$325.
So she owed you that in September?
She owed me that, yes.
Okay. Now, do you know how the horse was injured? It had a large hole in its chest.
I have no idea how the horse was injured. No one was there, no one saw it. It's impossible to know. Horses, unfortunately, injure themselves quite regularly in their paddocks, and you don't know necessarily how they did it.
Well, I'd like to see what you wrote up about the horse's injury.
What I wrote about it?
You have a log, I assume, that you keep with regard to the horses that you board.
I don't board horses regularly. This was a one-off situation. She was a companion horse for my horse because another horse went away, so they didn't like being alone. But it's not a regular thing. It's kind of like a roommate situation.
Do you have a contract?
Yes.
I'd like to look at it.
Okay.
Your Honor?
What?
I met the defendant because she advertised a stall for rent, boarding stalls in Craigslist.
How long did you keep your horse there?
From January 13th, 2014 until
So it was there for a very long time, and
Yes.
clearly you were satisfied.
Yes.
Otherwise, you would have moved it.
Right. Everything was fine up until I got hurt.
Okay. This is your contract. And this says that if the horse becomes injured, which the horse clearly was, that it's your responsibility to first try to contact the boarder.
Which I did desperately.
Just a second. And contact her. She gives you permission to contact her vet.
Correct.
Which you did.
Correct.
If the boarder's veterinarian is unavailable, the boarder authorizes the stable to call its veterinarian in an emergency, and that the boarder will be fully responsible for all veterinary charges so incurred. So you really had the responsibility to call a vet, but it's her responsibility to pay.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
Correct. So the part of your request for vet bills, she's not responsible for those pursuant to this contract. You are.
Right, Your Honor, but her boarding contract, she doesn't have a home occupational permit to run a boarding stable in Simi Valley, and that's required to...
Hey, you kept the horse there for 9 months.
Right.
When did you have this epiphany that she wasn't allowed to do what she was doing? When did you have this epiphany? When you had a problem?
I needed...
What I'm telling you is you have a contract, and your contract says that you pay the vet bill. Right now, you owe her $325 because your horse was there in the month of September. Has this happened? You paid it?
Yes, I did.
Great. How much did you pay her?
I paid $325. I sent it to her through bill pay.
Is that correct?
It was canceled. I have an email from my bank saying it was canceled.
I canceled it, Your Honor, after paid that. She gave me a billing, Your Honor, when I came.
To pick up the horse, she said to you, you're not getting the horse unless you give me so much money.
Right, and she added on erroneous charges and add-ons.
Just a second. How much money did you give her?
I gave her $1,584.
Okay. Now we come back to you. What is $1,584 for?
I have a line item billing of everything that I did for the horse, being that I had understood the horse was abandoned for the last 2 months.
Well, I don't care what you understand, actually. I don't care what you understand. 7 days is not abandoned.
She had not been to see that horse for months.
That's not true.
That's actually impossible because she told me that a month prior or 2 months prior, she had a conversation with you that she was moving the horse.
I believe it was a text exchange.
I don't care if it was text or by smoke signals.
She had not been to the facility to see her horse.
Listen to me. It doesn't matter. So far, she owes you $325 for boarding for the month of September.
I'd be happy to show you the billing with the receipts that I have.
Take a look. She paid you in August.
I apologize. It's complicated because we had
Just a second. No way. No way. $125 because the horse hadn't been there the whole month of September. According to this, twice a month.
She also paid hay in addition to the board.
I understand that.
And I fed her horse, and I gave it medical care, which it was essential, or the horse could have got an infection and been very sick.
Let me tell you what you were required to do pursuant to your contract. You were required to get a vet.
I did. I called the vet, and
No, I read your answer.
I spoke to the vet.
I read your answer.
And he gave me his recommendation.
I read your answer. You don't get paid for that. You personally, unless you paid it, just a second.
Horse
listen to me.
It's left at my property.
Listen to
that's
me
abandoned.
carefully. Unless the vet sent you a bill, you don't get paid for that.
How do you?
Did the vet send you the bill
I'm
for the I'm speaking. Just answer the question. Did the vet send you a bill for the conversation that you had with the vet to tell you how to fix the injury, this large gaping hole in the horse's chest that happened while it was under your care?
No.
Did the vet tell? The answer is no.
He gave me free
so
advice because he
1584
knew
less
I thought it was
325,
abandoned.
which is actually what she owed you, which she didn't pay, which is $162. So far, $1,261. Then you do have to feed your horse.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. So how much does it cost for the horses?
It was $100 a month average for 6 bales of hay. That's what my size horse consumes.
Over the 9-month period, what did you pay?
I paid
for food?
on average of $120 a month.
Well, now it's from 100 to 120. Why don't we think again? How much did you pay for the horse's food for the 9 months that the horse was there?
$120 a month was for the hay.
Fine. Less 120.
No, I paid that though. I paid that. She would give me.
In September?
She would tell me the amount.
Just a second. In September?
That's in her billing.
Just a second. What
that's
billing?
in her billing that she gave to me.
Oh, I'm deducting certain figures. I'm deducting from what you gave her, $1,584. I'm deducting what you owe her,
Right.
$325 for the boarding for the month of September.
Right.
You owe her $120 for food. I'm deducting that from the money that you gave her. This is your lawsuit.
$60, Your Honor, because it would have been half the month.
So far, $1,141 is what you're entitled to back from what she gave you, because you're not getting paid for the vet, for you acting like a vet on a horse that was injured on your watch. Food and her monthly boarding for September. What else does she owe you?
Grain, because I had to stop feeding the horse because it was losing weight. It was in
Grain.
stress.
Just a second. In the 9 months that you had the horse there, other than September, the answer is either yes.
She brought the grain up until around July time frame. June, July, I started feeding the horse because she was no longer bringing food for it.
Just a second. I'm giving you hay. That's in your deal. And I gave you for the whole month, not just half of it. What I asked you was, had you ever previously billed her for grain?
Before July, no, because she brought her
Okay,
own.
$1,141. What else?
The medical care. I flushed that wound 3 times a day.
$1,141. That's what you're entitled to, not $4,803. $1,141. That takes off the food for the horse and the $325 that you owe her.
Okay.
It actually says in my contract that I'm entitled to bill for medical care I provide the
No,
horse if I have to.
No.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
Did you know that that car was worth $84.50? 1983 Chevy Silverado? No, impossible.
It had some stuff done to it. It was
I don't
lower.
care what it had onto it. I don't care if it sang Happy Birthday in Mandarin.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Janice Tickle says Sarah Joint wouldn't return a horse she was boarding for her. Janice is suing for her damages.
Now, it says that you care.
I gave the
By
horse
a
veterinary care. Under
Not
veterinary
by-
advice.
Are you a licensed veterinary
No,
doctor?
but my witness is a vet tech, and I went under her advice and the doctor's advice
Good.
on how
You
to
don't get
treat
paid
the
for
wound.
that. 1141. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
If it were her horse and the tables were turned, I would have called another vet and another vet and another vet.
She didn't contact me for a week after the horse was injured.
Until I had that horse, the gapping wound.
I texted her, I called her, I emailed her.
Sealed up and cleaned up.
I went way above and beyond.
I learned a lesson. I will never board at a private backyard facility.
Take care of your animals and go visit them when you're supposed to.
And certainly not through one I find on Craigslist.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Fawcett versus Gutierrez. Step forward.
Matthew and Dawn Fawcett are suing Caleb Gutierrez for money owed for a truck.
Bird, would you do me a favor? I don't know if our books go back this far. I'd like you to look up a 1983 Chevy Silverado and tell me what the Blue Book value of that car is while I'm inquiring. This is what the lawsuit is about, Mr. and Mrs. Fawcett. It is your claim that you hired the defendant to redo a kitchen project for you. In addition, you say that you sold him a $3,000.
We didn't sell it to him. It was part of our payment to Caleb for the kitchen job, plus we added cash in on top of that.
So you were doing some barter.
Correct.
Okay, I'm going to find out how much the truck is worth.
$8,450.
$8,000?
$8,450.
1983 Chevy Silverado? No, impossible.
It had some stuff done to it. It was
I don't
lowered.
care what it had onto it. I don't care if it sang happy birthday in Mandarin.
They're very sought after now to be customized and lowered, which
I don't
it was.
care.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Why would they sell you and give you the title to a very expensive car before you paid for it by doing the work you were supposed to do? So they were trusting people. So why would they all of a sudden start to threaten you and your wife?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Matthew and Dawn Fawcett claim Caleb Gutierrez owes for a truck.
Bert, I have to see it. I mean, we're talking about a 24-year-old. I'm looking for a Chevy Silverado. And where does this say Silverado? Let's see, Silverado package. I find that absolutely astounding. Did you know that that car was worth $8,450?
I did not, and I don't believe it is.
Well, I'm looking here, so I am going to show you what it says in this Kelly Blue Book. Would you show him what it says? I mean, I actually was amazed, Mr. Gutierrez.
Yeah, I suppose that would be if it's in excellent condition, which I doubt.
Even if it's in lousy condition, it's worth more than $1,200, right?
Could be, yes.
Not could be. So let's say they gave you a truck that's worth $6,000, and what you paid them was $1,250.
Yeah.
So they were expecting you to do another $4,000 worth of work. Let's say we take that figure. And I'm giving you the benefit of every doubt.
Yeah.
Did you do $4,000 worth of work for them?
Not completed, no. But the original job, the original estimate was for $4,700.
No.
I want to know what you did for them.
Well, we
No, what? I want to know not what it started out as. I want to know what you did for them. You got a $6,000, and that's giving you a great deal. $6,000 car for $1,250, which is what you gave them, which means I want to see you doing $4,350 worth of work.
Okay.
Did you do $4,300 worth of work?
They wouldn't let me complete the job, so no.
Oh.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, they're only suing you for $3,500.
I don't believe they thought the truck was worth that much either. I still don't see how it would be.
You don't think it is? I don't think it is, but that's what the book says it is.
The fair price in there was, I think, $1,450, it said.
No. What's the fair price? I think he made a mistake there.
Maybe I was looking at the wrong one, but
I think you were. I think that the Silverado package added 10% onto the long bed truck.
Okay.
What's the fair price?
$4,225.
$4,225. That's in fair condition. That's excellent. That's good. That's fair. Right? You still driving the truck?
No.
What happened to it?
Well...
What happened to the truck?
They drive it.
Well, now you know how valuable it is. Maybe you'll drive it.
True.
Any excuse why you didn't finish the job?
They just made it hard to go in there and work.
Explain to me how they made it hard.
They started threatening me, threatening my wife.
How? Just a second. Why would they sell you and give you the title to a very expensive car before you paid for it by doing the work you were supposed to do? So they were trusting people, right? So why would they all of a sudden start to threaten you and your wife?
Because we just had The job was taking longer than we expected.
Than you expected.
Both of us.
Than you expected.
Okay.
You owe them $3,500. That's what they're suing for. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done.
Please, Judge Steve, you may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Just bringing my wife into this when she had nothing to do with it, harassing me with phone calls and texts all day long.
Well, you know, when he says harass and threaten, I had to show up to his place of business, which is his home.
They did some sort of a check. They found out where I lived, showed up at my house.
I never entered his property. I stayed in my truck in the road, called him, and he came out. So I don't know what he's talking about.